the guy subsequently advised us to go ahead with the transaction. And
okay, I think we just lost the signal for a moment there.
yes, I'm back.
Okay, welcome.
Sorry, my network is missing, but I'm back, thank God. So we engaged the guy and he advised us to go ahead with the transaction, and then we immediately involved a lawyer to draft out a transfer document, which we proceeded with the transaction. Like a week after, we received a call from this same surveyor informing us that he made a mistake and had erroneously advised us to the transaction. Money lost. The truth is that we had concluded the transactions with the seller.
Okay, so please bear with us. I mean, we have
there was no way we could go back.
Okay.
Of this positives as well.
No, continue. I lost
but
your voice.
It led us into unfortunate things like debts, long lasting, and name calling, depression, because it involved investors' money and we lost those money. But the truth is that that particular event also became a big turnaround for us in the way we do our verification. Now, today, we have created a process through which we help people from experience. We created a process through which we help people to prevent real estate losses and also ensure that they optimize their returns in their investments. And we have decided that we are going to share some of these tips with us. We are going to share some of these tips with us. Now, I would want to first and foremost appreciate each and every one of our speakers here today for showing their selflessness despite the tight schedule every one of us we have. The truth is, I just have to thank you all so much. Secondly is that our audience, without you, will not be here in the first place. So I really thank you. Now, lest I forget, we understand that there are a lot of distractions. A lot of distractions around, especially today that is Saturday. People trying to fight with concentrating on something. And here we are today. So we want to employ you to try as much as you can to stay tuned and enjoy and learn and benefit from this program. We'll be giving out grand gifts to those who are able to maintain their concentration and wait till the end of this program.
Amazing. Okay. I think we've lost him for a second, but how many of us are looking forward to getting that grand gift? If you want that grand gift, stay tuned and listen till the end of the program. Thank you, MD. Thank you for that welcome address. We appreciate you. I think we'll just move quickly into the sessions and we'll run through the first set of questions. To answer the first set of questions, we have ESV Omotosho again, who is an estate surveyor and valuer, MD and verification lead director. at Flora Homes Global Concepts. So I don't know if he's reconnected now. Are you reconnected, sir?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, awesome. So I'll just go right into the questions and we can move on. So I have read several times that for me to have a safe investment, it is only an estate surveyor and valuer that I need. Until there was an issue and I realized that it's only the lawyer that I need. Then I chose lawyers and there was a mistake in one of my property investments relating to a document not correlating with the subject site. Then I did my research again and I saw that it's the land surveyor that I needed. I also moved close until there was an issue relating to physical planning, and a town planner claimed that they are the best option for any investments. Now I'm confused. Sir, can you help us clarify this? Who do I really need for my property investment to be secure? Hello?
Thank you. I got that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the truth is that secured real estate investing will usually involve the input of not just one or two, but a number of professionals in the built industry. I will give you an example of a scenario. Sometimes back, a client engaged us to verify an interest property he wanted to buy. The vendor had presented him with a CFO and also told him that he was already processing his governor's consent. So with the information we got from the
My
client.
apologies. Let me just quickly cut you here, sir. Sorry for the break. I'm told here that it's the lawyer that is supposed to go first. So we address the questions relating to legal issues and all that before we come to you. My apologies for putting you on the spot right there.
It's okay.
Yes. Okay. So I will just quickly, just a moment, please. So I hear that she's available already and connected and ready to go. Welcome, ma. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Barrister Joseph.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon.
All right. Good afternoon. My apologies for the mix-up. So you are going to answer the questions that people have first concerning legal issues. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So I'll just go right into the questions. 1 second, please. So first of all, sir, can you tell us one story from your professional experience, some of the consequences of improper documentation by a property investor? Based on your experience, some of the things. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. You can hear me clearly, right? Sorry, let me just.
Absolutely, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, there are several, at least I can remember several, 1, 2, 3, 4. But there's this particular one that readily comes to mind. There's a matter we handled in our office for a client years ago. And what happened, the story is very simple. Somebody sued him over his property somewhere in Lagos here. And we're in court. During trial, documents were presented, front-loaded, everything and all that. But this is where our client got the advantage. Our client bought this property from a family who got judgments over the place, and they registered their judgments as title. It's part of you can register judgments. It's part of registrable instruments over land at the land registry. So he bought from them, did everything, and went ahead to get his governor's consent over I guess, against their title. So he had the governor's consent to register the deed of assignment and all that, perfected his title, which in law we know as legal title. The person suing him actually bought from somebody who had the CFO. CFO is another legal title anyway. Then the owner of the CFO got from some people that lost in court to the predecessor in title of our clients. So we are presented with these two scenarios. So the guy bought it from years ago from the person with the CFO, but he did not obtain governor's consent. He only carried the deed of assignment and he was parading his deed of assignment. So we got to court. One of the issues that arose for determination of the court was between his title and our title, which one will actually prevail. Here is the legal title, a deed of assignment, governor's consent obtained, registered, and ordinary deed of assignment without any, just deed of assignment. Nothing was done since then. And well, that particular issue was resolved in favor of our clients. Just one of those instances, because I'm sure we're all familiar with people, especially in this part of the world. We just buy land, we don't bother with documentation. The very first thing you want to do is to make sure you build. So a lot of people everywhere who have built their houses, who are probably living there for years, but if you check their title, they are still carrying what we might say an equitable title, so to say. The advantage they may have is because they are in possession anyway. They have been living there. But we always advise, take your title documentation as priority. Very, very important. Yeah, if you have more, you can build. If you want to build, you can, but don't just neglect proper registration of your title document. It's very, very important. So that's, I think I've been able to answer that question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the next question. Just a moment. So before finalizing any property transactions with anyone, whether individual, developer, company, or the very notorious Omonile, what are the things to look out for in order to establish the ownership and the legality of title as it relates to the subject property? Can you enlighten us on that, sir?
Okay. Now, it depends on the nature of the land or the nature of the title being held over the land. For instance, you mentioned Omonile. Omoniles are actually, of course, I know that term has been used in a very derogatory manner based on experience of a lot of hoodlums and criminalities here and there. But Omonile is actually referring to the land-owning family who own customary title, who are the settlers, on the place and all that, and who have been there. They are known as the original settlers. If you are buying directly from them, there are two scenarios. There's a possibility that probably sometime or some years back, governments may have acquired parts or the whole of their land for whatever purpose, public purpose, and maybe after a while, government didn't use it and it has been excised back to them. Now, it's different from if it has never been acquired before. If it has never been acquired and you buy from them, that's a raw title. You get your receipt, you get your deed of assignment, you expect to go ahead to process your certificate of occupancy. That would be the first registered title over that place because you are coming from customary title. But assuming it has been acquired before and they told you it has been excised and they give you the gazette of the excision, then that's in law. Once land has reverted back from acquisition back to the original owners, in law we say that a new root of title has been created. So that excision, that gazette becomes your title, legally recognized by government. So you can go ahead to, you get your deed of assignment from them and go ahead to process whatever you want to process at the land register, that's your governor's consent against the excision. You understand that. So, but that's for customary title. But if you are buying from somebody who has already processed the CFO over the land, that is not a customary title, not the original settler, he has bought, he had the CFO, you are expected to obtain governor's consent. Those are the provisions on of the Land Use Act. against the CFO. If you are buying the whole thing, fine. If you are not buying the whatever part you buy, you can process your governor's consent on that. And it flows down that way. If somebody has a governor's consent and is now selling, the new buyer is able to go back again and process governor's consent against that. Consent will keep flowing down. Because in law, the term being given to you is 99 years. That's its maximum for residential 99 years. Way back, we used to have agricultural CFO for 25 years, but I'm sure in a place like Lagos, I'm not sure whether that exists anywhere in Lagos again. But we'll talk about the residential, that's 99 years. So as long as the residue, I mean, the person has not finished using 99 years before it's sold, you are expected to register against the title document for the remaining term. So someday, it's expected that the 99 years will expire. So whoever holds title as at that time can now apply back to the government for extension or for a renewal of the term of the 99 years. That's the ideal. That's the law. Yeah, so that's the way it is. So those are the two scenarios of yeah. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So I mean, I know that a lot of people hearing all these different governors' consent is that, like, I for one, I used to think that one. So that leads to the next question. What exactly does proper documentation mean? Is it just about registering the title of the title document, or does it involve every part of the contract? How does one make sure the contract is binding on all parties to the transactions? And I'm thinking this would be especially when you are dealing with Omonile and stuff like that. Can you enlighten us? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, let me put it this way. See, land transactions, basically, they are contracts. They are just like any contract. In law, everything is contract. Whether you buy land or you do business, it's just basic. And the law is that every contract ought to be documented. Gone are those days when oral contracts are, it's still recognized in law, but then it will be difficult for you to prove. So basically, get your contracts documented. And there's a section of the law, there's a, I don't want to go to, but there's a section of the old act, which was part of the received English that we have domesticated. It's now, it's something you can obtain at Lagos State, what's it called? Sorry, law reform, yeah. Law reform contract law of Lagos State. There's a particular section that says every transaction over land has to be documented when it comes to land. So when you talk of proper documentation, it starts from the beginning to the end of the entire process. If somebody is buying land and is paying once, for instance, the land is 50 million, you have your 50 million, you buy it once, then you expect to get all your title documents, receipts, just like when I explained earlier, depending on the nature, whether you get receipts from the landowning family or you get your deed of assignment from whoever and go ahead and process whatever, fine. But in a situation where the person is not buying once or doesn't have money to pay once, okay, this land is 50 million, I intend to pay over the next 6 months. I will drop 10 million now. And then every month up to this, I'll be dropping so amounts. Then that person will enter into what we call contract of sale. Because the sale has not been closed. He hasn't bought the land yet. So the contract documentation was naturally get lawyers to prepare that. It will contain all the clauses and every agreement that was every, or rather not agreements, that's the word, every condition, thank you, sorry, condition that was agreed between the parties. So it contains some other statutory clauses also. So that will bind both of them, pending when the guy finishes paying and then the land is now transferred to him. So it depends on the nature of transaction. Then talking about even post the sale, that's when you now talk about registration of title at the appropriate government quarters, your survey, like from the example our host said earlier when he was introducing the thing, the survey is very important, all those things, and every document. Those are, all of them form part of the documentation over land. Whatever is transacted over that land, even building. So if you have to build, and so you have to enter a contract again for the building, for this and that, your approval, your this, everything. They are all, so It depends on the nature of the transaction, the kind of documentation.
So basically, document.
Yeah, document
That is
everything
it.
from beginning to the end. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Barrister Joseph. So he's of legal practitioners and consultants at De Jadeville. I hope I pronounced that properly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for clarifying and answering all our questions. We'll move on to the next speaker, and I would like to introduce Engineer Eluka. He's of smart homes and he's a smart homes and automation expert, and he's the MD of Elmargin Limited. Mr. Engineer Eluka, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, just go straight into your questions.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
One of the questions that were asked was the first question: why would anyone consider smart home? So first of all, the same reason why.
Okay. Yes. Sorry, engineer, because I was switching between screens. That's why quickly. But let me just read out the questions. So the first one, it says, why should anyone even consider home automation and smart devices when I have hands and legs to fix things around my home and thereby exercise better? So why should I automate things in the home? Can you tell us why we need to consider automation and the use of smart devices?
Okay, so I said the same reason why instead of exercising you choose to drive a vehicle is why you should also consider having a smart home instead of saying you also choose manual way. So I think that should be like a typical answer there, because if you check it out, it gives you free time to do a lot of things. So when you still talk about convenience now, it's more convenient to have a smart home than doing things the traditional way. So I think that pretty much answers why if you understand home automation, which means you're controlling your devices from let's say you're from your phone, or you can have like a program which controls these devices for you. You get so you can have like a time schedule. These lights can come on for you. Like let's use your security lights, for example. In fact, typical. Your security lights come on in the evenings, they go off in the morning. You don't have to walk there and turn it on. In fact, you can even forget. You can travel. You can leave your house in the hands of your nanny. So these things happen even if you're not around. So choosing to do it the manual way, where you have to keep checking each time, you have to be there physically present to monitor these things. I want to believe that going smart is the right way to go.
Awesome. I think I would go because I'm very big on exercise. So for me, I would have been concerned about the exercise. But when you said it can even work automatically when you are not around, I think that bought me. So you have bought us over.
So now everybody's considering smart energy options. So if you look at the energy management option also, if you forget any device in your house, you can actually turn it off without being there present.
Amazing.
You rush to work in the morning, you forget your water heater, your AC on, you just drive off. I'm running late for a meeting. You can always say, okay, yes, turn this device off, turn this on. Yeah, exactly. So
wow, those are great benefits. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So it says, what are the things that can be automated in my 3-bedroom flat? And what's the likely cost implication? Because most of us, when we hear automation now, we are thinking of big money. Like, what's the cost implication to achieve that? Can you use a breakdown from a complete installation you've done for an individual property investor recently? I know a lot of people are even afraid to have discussions around automation because they're thinking, now after I've rented out, somebody will not, no, there's no more, I can't achieve this. Can you tell us how affordable or not this is? So the cost implications and what things can be automated in a small 3-bedroom flat.
Okay.
Thank you.
So things that can be automated are practically every electronic device you have. You get, as long as it uses power. So it means it can be turned off and on. So let me use your lighting, for example, your refrigerator, your deep freezer, your microwave, your TV, your AC, your water heater, your standing lamps, even your computer definitely is already a computer do, but you can automate how it works and how it syncs with the house. More to say, so everything in the house can be automated. So the cost implication, as regards an entire house, let's say you own the building, let me call it that. So you can spend as low as 7 million to do to automate every single device in your house. And when I say every single device, it means all your switches are going to be smart, all your sockets are going to be smart. You have your water heaters controlled, you have your TVs controlled, you have your ACs controlled. It's that amount. You have your blinds also, your curtains. You have your CCTV, you have your security system. When I say security system besides CCTV, I mean like intrusion detection system.
For 7 million.
Yes, can have all this in your 3 bedrooms. Wow. Specific to a 3-bedroom house. A typical 3-bedroom house, we'll call it 3 spaces plus your living room and your kitchen/dining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so now that we have an idea of that, this leads to the next question. Is it a one-off fee, or is there a monthly or annual like running or maintenance cost that would be required once so if you've invested that 7 million in automating your house, what recurring costs would we have to bear to keep everything working?
The only cost you will have after automating your house is the cost of your internet. And pretty much every house these days has the shared internet, because it's actually cheaper to have a shared internet than for everybody to have separate subscriptions on their devices at home. So if you have that shared internet, let's say you have like a router in the house, your TVs connect to it, all your switches and sockets connect to it, all your devices basically connect to that, your home network. That's all that it requires. So whatever bandwidth.
Awesome. So as simple as just your internet subscription. Yes. That is all you need to keep it going.
That is all you need.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Okay, so let's go to the next question.
And to watch Netflix, you consume a lot more bandwidth than to keep your house running. With let's say 1 gig. If you dedicate, just call it 1 gig a month, you can have your house running on all these devices. You cannot exceed 1 gig on the running devices. So
so it's not data, it doesn't consume a lot of data.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Okay, so now that we know all this, what are the setbacks in smart devices, automate? You know how it is with our internet in Nigeria, because for me, off the top of my head, that's one thing I consider. When the internet is down, does that mean you're trapped in your house, nothing will work? So, just share with us from experience what this setbacks can be with smart devices, automation, and how do we mitigate these risks from crippling us once we invest in them?
Okay, like you mentioned, internet availability is one aspect. So, but what internet affects is your ability to monitor it when you're not in the house. It doesn't affect functionality within that space, as long as you have that home network that every device is connected to. So when you're connected to that network, whether there's internet or there's no internet, you can still control and monitor these devices. It's when you now leave your space, your house, you're on a different network now. Let's say you're using your regular mobile data, let me call it that. That's when you will not have control over it when the internet expires. So looking at internet in general, we know that fiber optics is a lot better than using the physical network. So if you have a fiber run to your house, definitely you enjoy your internet more, because you can have these things happen with the snap of a finger. Yeah.
Thank you.
Another setback is also unstable power supply. So like it's power based. So definitely you need lights to be able to control these things.
Be able to control them.
Yeah. So I think the next speaker will probably address the issue of backup power supply, alternative energy. But that should also be considered. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Engineer Eluka.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. All right. I hope we are all still together. Remember, there is a gift for those who stay and soak it all in till the end. If you have questions, don't wait till the end of the session. Just drop your questions in the chat box. We'll go through each of the questions after the first round of speakers, and then we'll take the next batch after each batch. So drop your questions in the chat box. They will be attended to. Thank you very much, Engineer Eluka. We go to the next speaker, Chief Anita. solar expert, chairman, Smiling Simon Greenfield Foundation. Okay, so Chief Anita, are you there?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Great to
Thank
have
you,
you
moderator.
here.
I'm very elated to be here. And
Amazing.
I thank Flora Homes for organizing this wonderful webinar to educate us all on how we can all key into the smart city, smart home. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Even I am very excited about this solar bit because NEPA has PHCN has frustrated us in Nigeria. So if we can go off grid, we will be very happy. Okay, so the first question is, in this overly polluted world, why will I choose the sustainable option? Can it help the world in any way? What personal advantage does it have for me to go solar and go off grid? Does it have any effect on the environment? Is it helping the environment, or is it causing more harm in the environment? Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator,
Yes,
for that wonderful question. First and foremost, I just want you to know that when you have innovation, you are having sustainability. What you are talking about is innovation, and innovation increases value of your home. You could significantly boost the value of your home by just making it eco-friendly. By installing solar panels on the rooftop or adding a water-saving toilet and shower, you will not only save money, but create a perk for new buyers should you ever sell your home, because you are adding value. Moreover, green homes use sustainable materials that have a low impact on the environment because they emit less carbon. They emit less carbon.
Wow.
Several governments of advanced countries also offer subsidies to individuals who go by the sustainable path. Like in the US, for instance, you are likely to receive attractive rebates on your energy bills once you go green and go solar.
Wow.
Unfortunately, that is not the case in Nigeria, but Flora Homes Smart City is trying to make sure that whatever smart projects Flora Homes embarks upon, they would make sure that we put all these green, addition in place. There's no rebate, even on the import duty on renewable energy components in Nigeria. It will attract precisely 10%. So tell me, where is the encouragement? So I know that Flora Homes is going to work assiduously with banks, with the government, to bring down the import duty on green devices and solar energy components. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe Flora Homes will engage government on this, because that's what, I'm also aware that in a lot of other countries, they are encouraging people to cut down on CO2 emissions, and they're giving a lot of incentives. So it's something that should be encouraged here as well. Thank you very much for that. The second question, I have a 3-bedroom apartment with appliances like air condition, water heater, washing machine, and I want everything to run on solar fully. So I guess this person wants to go off grid totally. What do I need? And how much would it cost for me to run 24/7 on solar energy? Please use a breakdown from a complete installation you've done for an individual property investor recently. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The point is, the energy audit differs from 3-bedroom to 3-bedroom. So it's not really a standard to just say, I want to power a 3-bedroom house and all that. But I'll quickly give down a breakdown that powering a 3-bedroom house requires an adequate energy setup. For normal load running on a standard house consisting of an air conditioner, a refrigerator, and all those gadgets and appliances you have mentioned, it will really be very apt to use what I would call a 3.5 kVA system with at least 10% of it that is not used. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Much, yeah, and how much would this cost?
It's going to cost, okay, if we use a 3.5 kVA inverter, it will cost like $495 to $500,000. Then 8 units, you will need 8 units of 330 watts of solar panels at about 85K, and that will cost 680K. Then costs of the material labor at 150K. And then we are also going to use storage, which is the batteries. Batteries right now each cost about 200K each, and you would need at least 4 batteries. So that's it, 800. So we are looking at about 2.2 million naira for a good solar standalone system.
Amazing.
But I can
and this
tell
will carry
you,
the air conditioner, the washing machine, the water heater. What are all these things that they listed here?
You may not use the appliances all
at the same time.
At a time. If you have your AC on, you may just have your lights on. When you have your
water heater
on, you don't have other things on, and you have to be energy efficient. You really have to use energy efficient appliances because the appliances matter. Your light bulbs must be white or LEDs. Your AC must be like the inverter air conditioning systems. If you don't use the inverter air conditioning systems, it may not be energy efficient. Even the water heater, we have energy efficient water heating system now. So everything needs to be well computed and well designed.
Thank you so much. I mean, I believe that a lot of people have even switched to energy efficient lights and all of that.
On appliances.
Increase in tariffs, yes, on a lot of appliances. So it makes total sense. But now that takes us to the next question. I mean, after people invest about 2-point-something million in setting up, the next concern would be, is there a monthly or annual running and maintenance cost that we still have to consider? Or once you have set it up like that, that's the end. Once you've gone off grid, you are free. What maintenance costs or monthly or annually do we have to consider when we are investing in solar?
Okay, thank you. That's also a very smart question because you need to consider your running cost in everything you do. But the smart energy ecosystem that puts you in control of how you produce and manage your home energy begins with efficient solar panels, like I told you, and energy efficient appliances. You know, they say you go off your grid, life goes on. And how do you go off your grid where you have to be energy independent yourself? And the cons of using solar energy solutions can be from the initial high cost. That's the most difficult aspect of it. But once you have installed it, there is, I will call it, it's next to nothing to maintain. The only part of it that you can, I would say you maintain, is cleaning of the solar systems. Solar panels on the roof because of the dust. Because if you don't clean the dust, the sun will not energize the solar cells well enough for you to have optimum, capability and, performance of your solar system. So you need to make sure that your solar panels are well cleaned all the
Wow.
time. So that's
All
the
right.
only, maintenance, and it's cost-free because it's what you can
Wow.
do yourself. If you have it down, you can use your mop. You have a
To
special
do
long
that.
mop for it. Put it in
Yes.
water and clean it. Or else you
Amazing.
use your water hose and clean it. And then at times, if your batteries are down, it's also good to check your terminals, the terminals of the batteries,
Wow.
which is also next to nothing. If you do this periodic checkup and maintenance, honestly, you will enjoy your solar system for the first 5 to 7 years. You will enjoy
That's
it.
awesome. So 5 to 7 years of no diesel, no PHCN.
Honestly, no
Wow. Thank you
PHCN,
so much.
and so on and so forth. It's good to be energy independent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was great to have you, Chief Anita. Thank you for sharing your expertise on this. I hope we are all taking notes and dropping our questions in the chat room. I've looked through, I've seen a few questions, but we'll go through the next round of speakers so that we can take more questions before we move on to the next batch.
Okay, sorry, I was supposed to have shared my video. The host is telling me, share your video. Now at least everybody can see me. I'm coming from Ijebu-Ode. I was sharing my expertise from inside the car. I love you all. Go green, go green.
Okay, I quickly shared my video briefly as well because I came for an event. Traffic hooked me here. There's no way I could have gone home and started off again. So that's why I have my video off because I'm just in one little corner at the program. So we move on to the next set of speakers. That's the beauty of technology. So you see that Chief Anita is in a car on her way, but she was able to deliver on answering her questions and give us good education about solar systems. So the next line of speakers will be starting off with Mr., but I prefer to call him Alhaji Omotosho, Estate Surveyor, MD, and Verification Director at Floral Homes Global Concepts. He will be taking the next set of questions. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome back. I know that we have brought you before twice in error. I apologize for that. But we'll just go straight into your own questions. I'm switching between screens, so please give me a second to just open up the questions. Yes. Okay. So the first question here, I have read several times that to have a safe investment, you only need the estate surveyor and valuer. Until there was an issue and I realized, okay, no, it's as if it's lawyer that I need. Then we chose lawyer. Then there was a mistake on one of the property investments relating to a document not correlating with the subject site. Then I did research and saw that it's the land surveyor I need. I also moved closed until there was an issue relating to physical planning, and a town planner claimed that they are the best option for any investment. Now, this person is totally confused. Please, who exactly do we need to have a property investment that is secure and without any K-leg? Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. So, to have a secured real estate investment, sometimes not one or two, but a number of professionals in the built industry may be required. These professionals could be an estate surveyor, it could be a land surveyor, a lawyer, a property lawyer, a property savvy lawyer. It could be a quantity surveyor, it could be a building engineer, and so on. Now, let me give an example. Someone who wants to buy a property and he was given a C of O particular to claim that the property has a good title. And in fact, the seller was saying that is already processing his governor's consent. And when we checked, we realized that there were a number of issues that if one of those professionals had worked in isolation, he probably would not have found out some of these things. You know, a property can be marketed with a good title like CFO or a governor concept, but in fact, that property is a government acquisition land. Very possible. You know, Nigeria, we are in Nigeria. A property can have a good title, but as at the same time, there are encumbrances that are impeding on the title. You know, a property can have a good title, but there's a right of way, and it's a subject of demolition. I mean, any property, any building you put on such property may still be a subject of demolition. You know, and on and on. The summary of it is that there are collective professionals in the built industry, and you may need more than one of them to check for you to ascertain that it's a secured investment you're about to put your hands into, you know.
All right, thank you. So the next question. So in short, so we need all of them. Nobody is more important than the other. Bye. Okay, yes.
So I may have to mention this. Sorry,
yes,
before
please.
You go ahead.
No problem.
Sometimes when you engage the first one or two professionals, you may end up realizing that you don't even need other ones. And as the verification as it goes, you may realize that you still need more people to check their own aspects.
Okay. Because I was concerned. I'm sure some people will be thinking that, so that means I need so much money. I will pay lawyer, I will pay estate surveyor, I will pay this, I will pay that. So like when you engage, depending on...
The good thing is that some of these professionals, they actually know that they need to engage others. You know, they know that they need to engage
Okay.
Why some people will want to do the I too know. I know it's all scenario, and at the end of the day,
supposed to be person in problem. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So based on this, what are the mistakes that property investors usually make that cost us a fortune? So in trying to save money, you end up losing money. Yeah.
Yes. Most times when sometimes investors want to, you know, save money, and then we base our decision solely on price. We base our decision solely on price, and then we go ahead, not looking back. Some other times, you know, an investor may engage the wrong person to do a job. I'll give you an example. An investor who wants to check the status of the land, and then he says, I have somebody working in Alausa, and then when the person comes around, the person is actually a quantity surveyor. What is the business of a quantity surveyor and the status of the land? The quantity surveyor does not really know the status of the land. What the quantity surveyor is concerned with.
Okay, somebody is asking for you to increase the volume. I think somebody can't hear properly.
Oh, sorry. How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, so I was saying that sometimes investors engage the wrong professional or the wrong person to carry out a certain job for them. Say, for example, you know, somebody engaging a quantity surveyor, the viability of the project that you're about to engage, you're about to embark on, and you feel that, oh, my lawyer will advise me on that. That's not the work of a lawyer. The work is that of a surveyor, an estate surveyor. You know, so engaging the wrong person to do something for you can be a big mistake investors make. Now, another thing is many times, like the story I mentioned in my introductory speech, when we engage professionals, sometimes we feel, well, I've paid him, he's the expert in the field, let him go and do his work, forgetting that that professional is also human. Yes, he has a duty of care to take, but at the same time, he has to be checked. You know, when you don't check what is being done for you, at the end of the day, you may be gone. So Invariably, an investor should also have a basic knowledge about property titles. I emphasize property titles because most of the time in our environment, the issue people have is with regards to the title, and then you hear here and there that the property was demolished, the government are coming, and meanwhile, all these things could have easily been checked. Another mistake people do is that we don't do proper feasibility and viability appraisal of an investment we want to go into before making a decision. I say proper because, you just, on the surface, you look at a project and you say that, okay, add ABC, you are going to get D. It doesn't work that way. There are certain things that need to be checked because location may be a big factor. The development in the area, the demand could be a big factor. Some of these things are mistakes that investors make. I think I have some other lists here.
Okay.
Sometimes an investor, and I have had this several times. You see somebody saying that, oh, me, I don't want to buy land because the problem with land is too much. I would rather go for building, forgetting that the building you want to invest in is also sitting on a land. So if the land is faulty, the building becomes faulty because it is attached to the land. So these are some of the mistakes that investors we make before going ahead with our transactions.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So now to follow up, I would like to, somebody here now wants like a step-by-step process. So it says, okay, if I want to process my the property I'm interested in, I want to do due diligence. What steps should I take to avoid being a victim of property losses in all ramifications? So is there like a step-by-step guide? You have said so many things here about how some people just engage somebody and they don't follow up, they don't bother. Most times because most people don't have knowledge, they don't even know what they're supposed to ask, they don't know what they're supposed to look out for. So in this question here, we just want to know the steps that one needs to take to make sure that they do not end up losing the property and losing their investment altogether. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. First things first, when you want to go into a property investment, the first thing you should do is to request for title documents. You request for the documents of a property you are about to invest in. In other words, like I said earlier, the investor should know about property titles. You should know about registered and unregistered title. If the property is registered, there are different kinds of titles that could be registered. I think the barrister was mentioning some of these things while he was answering the questions that were thrown to him.
Yes, he was.
Also,
yes.
Yes. So sometimes a property may not have a registered title as well. So there are certain things that you need to know about property titles. The investor should equip himself. So the lawyer too can come in handy to help one with this. But you as the investor should also know this. Secondly, is that you should physically go to the land. You need to physically visit the property. It may not necessarily be a land, it may be a building. You should physically visit that property. Sometimes, especially because there's internet today, people just rush into transactions without, this is real estate. It's land. Land cannot move anywhere. It's in a specific location. So if there are information that are wrongly given to you as an investor, you can verify by going to the land. How do you verify? You go to the land to pick random coordinates. You pick random coordinates and then correlate it with the documents that you were given. Now, we have a simple tutorial video on our YouTube channel, Flora Homes GC, where we gave explanation on how anybody can easily pick coordinates using their Android phones.
Wow.
Use their Android phones to pick coordinates on any property within Nigeria, and then you just send that coordinates to the land surveyor to help you, check the status of the land. And then you can also look at the documents that you are given, specifically the survey plan. The property should have a survey plan that defines the boundary, the shape, and the precise location. Then you correlate it with the coordinates with you to be sure that the land that you are taking to is actually the documents that you have been given. Because sometimes You may be taken to a specific land, and at the end of the day, you have another document with you. This happens a lot. You know, it happens. Okay, so also, if the property has a registered title, you then proceed to the land registry, that is the land bureau, to conduct a search. You know, of course, again, the lawyer comes in to play, or an estate surveyor too can do this. You can even do it yourself by going to the land bureau yourself. But of course, to make things easy for you, you should engage a professional to do that. What do
Awesome.
they find? What do they find? You will, by running the search at the lands bureau, you know if the registered title really exists and the status. If there are registered encumbrance, you will know. Encumbrance here means probably there is the owner has used the property for, you know, maybe he has used it to acquire loan from a bank.
Oh,
And it has been,
okay.
so running a search at the land registry. And I think I must mention this, because sometimes if the search at the land registry is not properly conducted, you may still miss some of these things. You know, the investors will then be the one to, you know, to suffer the consequences. I remember there was a property that we were about to buy for our clients in sometimes last 2 years, I think. And going to the property, it was about 1,000 square meter of land, and the owner was going to split it into 500 square meter and sell. And then he presented it to us. There was another person who wanted to buy the other half of the property. But when we conducted our search, we found out that there was a subsisting encumbrance on that land. That is, that the land was used by the previous buyer. And this is one of the problems. When you mentioned the title perfection, remember the lawyer was telling us that we need to perfect our title. So the one selling to us was actually selling a property that he did not perfect into his own name. Rather, the property was still in the name of the previous owner. And then the previous owner had gone to obtain a loan with that property. And the loan had not, the encumbrance had not been released. So at the end of the day, the was still on that land. The other person had already, who is a lawyer, I mean the professional, the other person who wants to acquire the other half of the land is a lawyer, and he had proceeded with payment. In fact, the lawyer was on our neck saying that we should conclude so that the owner can, release the title documents. But you know, they had paid
so
for
there
it.
are a lot of issues around these things.
What do you call it on it? So you conduct a property search. Maybe because of time, let me just quickly skim through the points. You conduct a property search, and then then you correlate it, and then you need to confirm road encroachment. That a property has a good title does not necessarily mean that there could not be a road encroachment on the land. So you need to find out if there are road encroachments and to what extent, if at all there is. A town planner, will be of help in this regard, because you get that through the master plan. Then you also need to confirm, you need to run a street search. Sometimes some of these properties are actually subject of disputes, and those disputes are not registered, meaning that they have not gotten to the courts. And then all hooligans, they may come to attack you, disrupt your work, and then it's a big problem for you. So you need to run a property, a street search, by going to the environment where the property is and making findings to know exactly who owns the property. Leave papers out of it. We are humans. Find out who owns the property and what are the issues, if there are any, on the property. Then you also need to conduct evaluation. Sometimes people look at the property and they say it is X amount, and you say that it is too cheap, or you say, it is too expensive. But there are some factors that will determine the true fair value of the property. So you need to run an evaluation on the property you want to invest in. how much exactly is worth parting away.
Please keep your mics muted, please.
An estate surveyor, the right person to go to with this, you know. And also sometimes those building or those property we want to invest in could be actually a building, which means that there's a structure on it. Now you need to be sure that there are no structural defects. A building engineer or a civil engineer will be of benefit to engage in this regard. And then also, when you have ticked all this, very, very important, you need to execute a befitting document. That is a transfer document that will bind the buyer and the seller and cover the buyer, especially. You know, you need to execute a document that will cover
All
you.
right.
So the lawyer, of course, comes again into play here. And then when you have done that, when you are making payments, ensure that you are making payments through a verifiable means. Mistakes people make. I remember there was a time somebody came into our office, you know, and then I was still under training. And then the guy was so excited. He came to meet us and he was like, there's a property somewhere. In fact, it's a very beautiful property investment. Can you come along with me? And we went there only to find out that they already paid for the property he was calling us for.
It appears we have to have a whole master class on this alone, this particular topic.
Okay, I'll quickly round off. So he had paid for the property.
Wow.
Unfortunately, when we checked, we realized that property was in fact an acquisition land. And he even paid in cash. So paying in cash, how does it trace whom he had paid the money to if he had not signed documents? So when you are signing documents and you are making payments, you make payment through a verifiable means, like a bank draft, you know, or a transfer. A bank transfer can also be reliable because you can trace such transactions. And then you should take possession of your property, your new acquisition immediately. Don't make any.
Right.
Don't do any unnecessary delay. Take possession of your property by putting something on the land, even if it is a dual fence, or you put somebody there to be checking it on your behalf. You should take possession of your property. Very, very important.
All right. Thank you very much. I believe that we will collate this and send, because he has listed a lot of things as a step-by-step things that you must consider. And I think somehow you've answered, some of the points in the next question, because the next question is saying, are agents and realtors really needed? Because now you can go on the internet and do whatever searches you want. So do you want to just say something quickly on that, even though I think you've captured it in the last question? Thank you, sir.
Yes. The truth is that real estate companies and developers being on the internet is like being outside the internet. There are still humans behind them. And so the agents are still very, very important in every real estate transaction you gather. Don't forget, when people come online to market a property to you, the agent who is physically going around can tell you the true nature of that property. As a matter of fact, as a company, when one of our services, which we call complete property buyer service, when it's being engaged, we still make use of these agents because they have more information, more detailed information about some of these properties. And once we have them, we can do our work easily. So the agents cannot, they will remain they remain a link between the buyers and the seller, and they cannot.
So we still need the agents and the realtors. Really, don't assume that you can just go on the internet and have all the answers. I believe.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next question. I wanted to buy a land in Ibeju-Lekki Epe axis, considering the fact that it is the location where Lagos population and business is moving to. I've seen different price offers that have left me confused, from 1 million to the tune of 100 million per plot in Ibeju-Lekki. Oh my God, I beg. From a professional valuer's point of view, how does one determine the right pricing for a real estate piece before going ahead to pay? Thank you.
Okay, so I think the question has to do more with pricing. Now, the truth is that we should understand one thing. When you are buying a property, it is localized, meaning that it is in a particular environment. That is why many people, when they look at property and they want to put a value to it, they use what we call comparison. I mean property, as in property comparison. Look at, okay, in for example, let's say Ibejuleki, a land is sold for 3 million naira, and so every land that I want to buy of the same size should be 3 million naira. That is wrong. The truth is that as much as the market comparison is very, very important and useful to determine price, we should understand that there are certain things that are unique to different properties, starting from the title of the property to the extent of development of the property. You know, some properties have good title, and when we say good title, say a C of O. Now, a property can have a general C of O, while some other properties may have, you know, the owner of a particular one within that C of O may have a governor's consent. You cannot expect the person who has a governor's consent to sell his property at the same price as the one who is working on a global C of O. Again, the fact that my property is in Ibejuleki, Ibejuleki is a very big community. If I can call it a community, Ibejuleki is a big local government. There are different parts of Ibejuleki. Some parts of Ibejuleki can be swampy, some parts can be a dry land, some parts of Ibejuleki, they are no-go area because they are known for notorious activities there. While some parts of Ibejuleki, they have a very close proximity to, you know, big government projects that will definitely impact the value, positively, you know. So these are some of the things that you need to look at before you determine what is the price of this property. What is that price of that property? I think that is more of a professional work for the
Thank
estate
you.
surveyor and value.
Okay, so finally, what is the rate of property value appreciation in that area that's in the Ibejuleki axis? And what other alternative real estate investment options can you recommend in case I choose not to go ahead with Ibejuleki area? Because, you know, now there's so much emphasis on the appreciation of Ibejuleki land and all of that. But if it says, I don't want to go with that, which one can you recommend? And what's the real value of the appreciation of land that is bought in that axis?
Yes, thank you very much. Like I said earlier, not all Ibejuleki lands will appreciate, you know, exponentially as is being depicted online. There are some properties that, you know, they are actually appreciating at an exponential rate, while there are some that are not really appreciating because people are not even going there. So invariably, what determines the rate of appreciation is actually demand. When people demand a particular location, by default, those who own the property there will increase their value because it becomes competitive, you know. So you need to look at the areas where, you know, demand is very high. True, you can get places where within Ibejuleki where they are selling a plot, in fact, less than what you will define as a plot of land. So when you say a plot of land to the layman, it means 648 square meter of land. But you will see some places where as low as 450 square meter of land is selling for as much as 30 million within Ibejuleki. Yet you will see a land that has been the same price over the years, is selling for 1.5 million naira. Some are even marketing properties within Ibejuleki for, you know, as low as 600,000 naira. When you visit those places, you will understand the reason why they are at that price. The divergence of price as in appreciation. So basically, it is the demand that will determine. It is not something that you can just hook, line, and sinker say that this is the rate of appreciation. It depends on the precise neighborhood where you are buying the property.
Thank you very much. All right. So thank you so much. This has been very, very, very power packed. So we move to the next speaker. We have Engineer Tom, solar electrical engineer and MEP services expert at Tom E. Are you here, sir? Engineer Tom.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Okay, welcome and thank you for agreeing to do this. We're so happy to have you. I will just go straight to the first question. Just 1 second, please.
All right.
All right, so I'm aware that some people who run solar don't still have consistent electricity, especially when it rains. The solar batteries charge slowly and hence discharge in a few hours. What can we do to mitigate this and run 24/7 on solar efficiently? Thank you, sir.
All right. I'm Engineer Tijani, and I'm here to speak about some of the salient questions and then give a professional answer to some of them, God willing. So concerning the question, when you say solar energy, when you say solar, it means you are getting the energy from the sun majorly. That is, you are converting the sun energy to electrical energy. So be that as it may, it means that for you to have a functional solar power system, then there is a need to have a very high level of sun intensity. However, it means when there is rain, there is tendency that there will be a drop in the efficiency of the system. There's no doubt about that. However, we can have some steps to actually augment for this misnomer, which is a natural consequence anyway. Like, for example, if before putting in such system, like my elder professional mentioned, Chief Anita, there is something called energy audit. There are some people that they will just say, I need solar, then they go ahead and buy whatever they want to buy, install whatever they want to install without actually carrying out what is called energy audit. What is the energy demand of that particular household you want to solar powered? So you need to do the accurate energy audit to get the energy size. Then with that, you specify. So if you under-specify, definitely you will not have a constant solar system in such a situation. So what is needed to be done, aside the fact that you are having let's assume that the normal thing happens, that is you have your sun, then you must do what is called accurate energy audit to have a very beautiful, energy design. Then engage good hands in installing this system. Engage good hands in installing this particular system. If all this is in place, then you are very sure of having a constant
Thank
power.
you. All right, thank you, Engineer Tom.
Yes.
So the next question is, how much will it cost for me to run 24/7? People are really interested in this solar because PHCN has shown people pepe. So somebody says, how much will it cost for me to run 24/7 on solar energy in my office with appliances? I think this was addressed earlier, but okay, just again, somebody says AC, refrigerator, water heater. Please, how much will it really cost? How much monthly and annual running cost as well?
Actually, for every solar project, there's something called initial cost and there's something called running cost. For initial cost, this is where you have to put down your money. For the running cost, it is almost zero. How do I mean by that? For somebody with this kind of energy requirement, that is appliances in place, I think you mentioned the appliances, the type of appliances, right? Hello? Hello?
All right, thank you very much. So the next question. Yes.
I'm here to answer the question. I'm here to answer that particular one you mentioned.
Okay,
The question again.
Okay. This person wants a specific amount. He says, how much if I want to run on 2/4? You know, I said Chief Anita has addressed this. It's just if you have an additional insight to this, or if we can move on to the next question, because this person says, if I want to run on solar 24/7 with air conditioner, refrigerator, water heater, really how much would it cost and how much do I need to pay monthly and annually to maintain it? That's the question.
No, like a minimum of like 2.9 would be able to be accommodate that
Okay,
need.
so basically,
And an annual running cost of like 100K would be fine.
Basically what Chief Anita has addressed. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
All right, so the next question, considering that is good for cooking, washing, flushing, but not for drinking, how can we produce sustainable drinkable water within a building that will cut down the day-to-day expenses? So I know that a lot of people buy water or they buy bottled water, generate drinkable water in your house, or the expenses based on that.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. With the assumption of the fact that you only need a drinkable water, there is something called a water treatment plant that we do have design for, especially when you are doing MEP services design. So in this case, we will have to conduct a lab test on the water. If we conduct a lab test, we take the water sample of that particular location to the lab to ascertain the level of impurity embedded, and then professionally we will advise the kind of water treatment system that we are to adopt for such. So vis-a-vis will determine the costing for such plants. So it is possible that you have a mini water treatment plant within your household that will be able to filter your water for it to be fit for drinking. So it's possible.
All right, thank you. So the next question now is somebody that says, okay, property owners who have tenants, if they now want to vend water on a pay-as-you-go basis to their tenants, how can they implement that such that they are billing them is pay-as-you-go? Because some tenants can be wasteful, they leave the tap open, waste the water when they know that it's free. But if you now want to vend it on a pay-as-you-go basis, how can they implement that? Thank you.
Okay. Concerning that, for every water system, it is possible that we have what is called water meter. So before, and this will be taken care of right from the time of installation of such water supply system. Say the water is from, let's say, from the utility building, or let's say a water treatment plant, a central system supply, as the case may be. Then before the water enter into each of the units of the flats, as the case may be, you will need a water meter to measure the amount of water to come in, and then before distributing the water around the building. So by you having your water meter, you can easily monitor the volume for that particular unit for each of the flats in question. So that could easily be taken care of by the installation of your water meter.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Tom, for answering all our questions. We'll just move on to the final speaker in this batch, in this group of speakers, and I would like to welcome Engineer Fadikpe, Bio-Sewage, Biogas, and MD Effort Concepts Limited. So can we make welcome Engineer Fadikpe? Thank you. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, thank you so much, Coordinator, Facilitator. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me,
welcome.
Please? Yeah.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. We can hear you. Thank you. Welcome. We'll just go right into your questions. One moment, please. I'm just trying to quickly switch between screens. I'm going to do this and bring value to people who want to learn about property and investment, property and land investment in Nigeria. Thank you. So to the first question, sir. why should any homeowner adopt a biodigester system for their home solid waste management instead of the conventional sewage that we all know? And what is the cost implication of a biodigester option in comparison to the traditional sewage option? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, standing on the existing protocol. First of all, what the biodigester system? The biodigester system is a treatment option that converts your sewage into biogas and water. It's an anaerobic system, which means there's no oxygen required. Bacteria is purely a biological treatment plant that breaks down your sludge, your waste from the toilet into biogas and water. Now, this is a treatment plant that gives you back benefits. So the first the question says, why should an homeowner adopt the biogas system? The first reason why you should adopt it is because it's eco-friendly. It's eco-friendly system. You're not emitting gases into the atmosphere. For example, most homes have septic tanks, and on top of the septic tank, you see a pipe, what's referred to as a vent pipe. What happens is that every organic material breaks down, and of course, gases are generated. And these gases are now released into the atmosphere, and of course, it depletes the ozone layer. And of course, we know the effect on us right now, the heat wave, and all of that. And when you have a home very close to your septic tank, or your septic tank is too close to your wall, sometimes you perceive odor, which is the hydrogen sulfide in the gases that are generated from your septic tank. The temptation is to cut off the pipe. And when you cut off the pipe, you have the gases now eating off the wall of your septic tank. And before you know it, there's a collapse. There's water ingress or water egress from your septic tank. Or if you use the extended aeration system, if you use the normal, the sewage treatment plants that you find in most hotels or big facilities or big estates, a central sewage system that requires a lot of oxygen, requires a lot of energy, and of course, you're increasing carbon footprint. So to answer the question again, the advantage is that you're having a system that does not require energy to run. So you're reducing carbon footprint. It does not require physical touch. It has very, very, very little or no physical touch with the treatment system, unlike other systems. Of course, if you have a septic tank system, periodically you need to invite somebody to come and evacuate it. And you know, one of the major causes of cholera or diseases by WHO is human contact with feces. So you have a septic system or a sewage system or a sanitation system that takes away physical touch with your sewage management. So that's one of the benefits. The other benefit is that there's no evacuation of sludge. You have a biodigester because, like I said in the introduction, your waste is broken down into water and gas. So there's an input, process, output. Whatever coming from your house, from your facility, from the estate, goes into the biodigester and it's converted into water and biogas. So there will be no evacuation of sludge. There's no buildup of sludge, and after a time you spend money to evacuate it. No. Instead, you get benefit from your sludge. Another reason why you should adopt the biodigester style system is that you get back your space 100%. In some cases, you discover that those who have the septic tank system, you have your septic tank protruding above the ground a little, and you can't park your cars there, or children can't play around there. So you're losing some space in your compound if you have a septic tank. For, like I said earlier on, if you have an organized estate or an hotel or some big facility that use the other sewage treatment plants.
I'm sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you. I'm just hearing. Hello, sir, engineer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I'm hearing all this wonder. The second part of the question was the cost implication, because in my head, I'm thinking, hey, this thing is going to be plenty money. So what is the cost implication
not at all.
of using this? Of doing this? Because, we don't want to get excited and then hear the cost now.
No, it is affordable. It is affordable.
So the cost implication, yes, sir.
The cost implication, basically, it starts from, depending on the size of the family, say, it starts from 3 million above. So for 3 million above, you have a biogas system And of course, you can use the biogas that is generated from your feces, from your kitchen waste, which can also be introduced into the biodigester system. So another benefit is because the water that is coming out from it, from the biodigester, can be used as liquid fertilizer. You can actually containerize it and even make a business out of it. You can use it for your green area, like most estates you've done. They use the effluent, the water that's finally the byproduct of your waste after treatment. You can use it for your green area and of course reduce the water demand. You don't have to take water from your main kitchen.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Engineer Fadipe. So the second question now, what are the practical uses of these waste? If I choose the biodigester sewage option, although I think you have captured some of it in the first one, but if you have any additional benefits.
Okay, let's just read it out. It's a straightforward question. Yeah, the most straightforward question. The first one of the benefits is that you can use the gas that is generated, the biogas that is generated from your feces, from your leftover kitchen waste for cooking.
Wow.
So it's an alternative or replacement for your LPG. Remember, your LPG is propane. Biogas is methane, is C1.
Yes.
Biogas, and propane or your LPG is C3. So you can actually use an alternative for cooking. Imagine cooking. There are videos which we could have shared later. There are videos of where we have installations in Lagos where the biogas is used for cooking. You can use it for heating too. Earlier on, we're talking about sustainable cities and sustainable estates and living. You can actually have their water heaters that run on biogas. So you just connect the gas direct to the water heater and it heats it. So you can, just like you can use a solar water heater, you can also have water heater that's basically on biogas. You can use the biogas for electricity to run a generator. So you can run it through a generator, the gas that is generated, run it through a generator, of course, power your facility. So just like you can use LPG to run your generator and run your facility, you can also use biogas to do that. Another benefit for choosing the biogas sewage option is that you get clean effluent, clean water as a byproduct that you can use as liquid fertilizer. It is rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, so you can containerize it and use for your green area, or you can even get a business out of it. You can sell it as fertilizer to farming catchment you have around you.
Sorry to cut you quickly, sir. I'm just wondering, as I'm hearing all these things, that we can even make money from it. Why is it that not a lot of people are doing this at the moment? What is the challenge?
There's a paradigm shift right now. Of course, like ELFAD is about 7 years old now. When we started some 7 years ago, there was very little traction. But right now, almost every estate is switching from the traditional septic tank system, because your septic tank system is more like a holding station and you evacuate periodically. And considering the fact that in Lagos, the water table is high, most time you are not evacuating what you have used, not the water from your house that's gone into the building. It is groundwater that has ingressed into your septic tank. So you are spending money to evacuate nature. So, but there's a paradigm shift right now. There's a lot of attention. Most consultants, most estates are switching from the regular septic tank system to the biogas system or the biogas system. And other people who are switching are those who are spending a lot of money running the conventional aerobic plants, which requires a lot of power to run. It has a lot of downtime because of our popularity here in Nigeria. There's really no lights. So each time there's a power outage, the system has to restart. And of course, when blowers blow oxygen into your sewage, it now diffuses bad odor. And of course, some clients will complain. And that's where, in fact, that's been a switch, right? The reason why people are switching to the biodigester system, because of the high running costs of other systems.
Okay, amazing. So the next question is, the amount of biogas generated from my septic tank, is it or the amount of waste, generated in my septic, is it enough to give me 24/7 biogas for cooking and for electricity? Somebody would like to know.
For cooking, yes, you can generate significant biogas from your feces and from your leftover waste. There's what is called co-digestion. Co-digestion is combination of your fecal waste, your toilet waste with other kind of organic waste. So you have leftover rice, leftover mala, leftover oil. As in anything that is organic, you can actually introduce it with your feces and it gives you more biogas. So you can get enough gas for cooking. Remember, you cannot cook for more than 2 hours per time. I don't think anybody cooks, so you're doing a party food. But for electricity, you need a lot of waste. And that's where Flora Home comes in. For electricity, you need to have more like a communal harvesting of waste. So the more the people, the more the waste, then you can say, yes, we can conveniently guarantee electricity. But it requires a lot of waste. It means you need to generate so much waste.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next question. Yes. So somebody says, what can I do and how much will it cost for me to run my 4-bedroom duplex on 247 biogas, cooking and electricity? People are very interested in this. So going on, but using this to run the cooking and electricity. Somebody wants a breakdown of the installation that you've done for someone recently. How much really does it cost if I want to run on that 247?
Okay, basically for cooking, like I said, just answering the previous question, for cooking, it is sustainable. You would to set up the biodigester system for both your toilet waste and your kitchen waste, between 3 to 6 million naira. Of course, you can set up everything, and you can be off LPG between 3 to 6 million naira for a typical family. You can get that, but remember, you have to have sustained kitchen waste. You must be able to generate sustained waste. It's not enough for us to set it up and you are not eating enough, you are not cooking enough. If you now set it up and you're not eating the house to generate the waste in the house, and you're generating the waste in somebody else's facility, it means those other people will get more biogas than you. So if you have a sustained kitchen waste in your typical 4-bedroom apartment, yes, you can have or be off LPG. For electricity, like I said, it is only achievable through a central or a communal system, like home estates, for example. We've all said it today that they are high on green buildings, eco-friendly homes. So you can have a collection point where sorting is done. All your leftover inorganic waste are separated. The organic waste is separated and co-digested with your fecal waste. And of course, they can generate power to run the estates. Another source of waste is also crop waste, animal waste. Those are waste that can also give you very high quantity or quantum of energy of biogas, basically. So to answer the question head on, for a typical single home, you can get enough 247 biogas for cooking. For electricity, an individual cannot generate that kind of waste.
Yes, but they want to know the exact cost. So is it 2 million? Is it 3 million?
It's still like I said, it's still within the same range for a typical home, except you are going to be importing waste from, for example, you have a farm, you're going to be importing waste from the farm to the house. With 3 to 6 million, you can set it up.
Okay.
Let's put on the light.
Okay.
That's for an individual.
All right, so once
anyway,
you do the CO, annual running or maintenance cost. Okay, but is there any monthly or annual running cost again after that investment that they need to maintain it?
No, just like most renewable energy systems, there's actually little or no running cost at all. You only need to check that there are no leakages, that they are just for you to load your feedstock that is introduced, the waste. That's the only cost that may come in, just you loading your biodigester with enough waste. So if you are running it for gas, for cooking gas, it has almost zero running cost. For electricity, yes, you incur some running costs, which includes maybe the hydrogen sulfide, which is one of the constituents of the biogas, may corrode. your steel. So what we can do in that case is to do a desulfurization, remove the hydrogen sulfide in the biogas so that you have a clean methane and you can use. It comes with a almost zero running cost.
Okay, awesome. So now, of course, the final question, which is the usual question people ask, is what advantage does this biogas electricity as a source have over the other sustainable options, which is like solar and mechanical? What advantage does biogas have over those ones?
The most readily available advantage is that, okay, there are no downtimes as long as you are generating waste. As long as people are alive, they would eat. As long as they eat, they will generate fecal waste. And as long as we generate fecal waste, we have free biogas. So, unlike other systems that depend on us, other things too. Of course, every renewable energy depends on something. The solar depends on the sun. The mechanical system depends on electricity or some form of dynamo system to generate power and all of that. But the advantage of waste is that we generate a lot of waste. India alone produces about 40 million tons of waste per day. That's a lot of waste. You understand? In Nigeria, we produce, so an individual produces about 0.65 to about 1 kg per capita per day. That's how much waste one person produces. It's a lot of waste, but it's only sustainable for cooking. For electricity, it has to be a communal generation. Of course, because of demography, some people generate more waste than the other. You have an estate, for example, where only the man, the head of the family, is at home. The wife and children are abroad. Some families, the whole house is in town. So
absolutely,
when we have an estate, yes, we can generate some waste. And of course, like I said, we also need to introduce co-digestion. We need to bring in other form of organic waste, like leftover food, animal dung, water hyacinth. It will shock you that water hyacinth has a lot of biogas content, even more than fecal waste. So all of this can be introduced to get biogas, which is free. Remember, it's free gas from your waste.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Fadipe. I just want to say thank you to all the speakers that have taken this first half. So Barrister Joseph, Engineer Eloka, Chief Anita, Ms. Alhaji Omotosho, Engineer Tom, and Engineer Fadipe. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So before we go to the next batch of speakers who will be answering questions, I know there are some questions that have been placed in the chat box. Someone else will take over from me just to moderate that Q&A session while I catch my breath. And when I come back, we will go into the second session or the second set of speakers for this great webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging by. Remember, there's a gift for the person that stays till the end. If you know you want that gift, stay connected. All right. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Ms. Mofolushade. That was a great time. So quickly, we'll go into the questions that we have already. And I believe our speakers are already here are still available to help us attend to them. Okay, yeah, we'll be taking the next speaker. We realize that we are running out of time, like we've spent so much time here and we need to move on fast. So next I'll be calling Mr. Ijebo. He's a mechanical electricity expert and he will be sharing with us on topic. Hello, Mr. Ijebo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello and good afternoon to everybody in the house.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's go to your questions. First, what is mechanical electricity?
Okay, so in a very simple and direct form, mechanical electricity is simply electricity generated from an engine in motion. Okay, so now we have different kind of this mechanical electricity. Okay, so but what we're talking about would be the fuelless mechanical generation of electricity. Yeah. So and then this electricity, this form of electricity that is mechanical electricity actually does not require engine such as the traditional ones that we already know. They don't require engine that uses any form of fossil fuel, either gas, water, petrol, diesel, anything.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so the combination, the part is just the major component are just alternator and DC motor, all right? So these are the two major components, okay? And then a kind of magnetic field is built around it that sustain rotation, unlike the traditional ones that they need the fuel, and the likes, gas, water, or kerosene to sustain rotation, around the alternator. But for our own generator, or for the mechanical electric generator, it doesn't need all of those things.
Oh, that's great. So for this, is it realistic for one to run 24/7 non-stop mechanical electricity without relying on any other energy source?
Oh, absolutely, yes, it is. It is, and how do you achieve this is by having two or more. Now, I earlier said the mechanical electricity generator doesn't make use of combustion engine. Okay, so but it has wheeling part, that is, it has part that rotates, which is the DC motor right now. Okay, so it is advisable that when you're running on it, you can run on it for say 19 hours every day and let it rest for some 5 hours, okay, so that you can get the lifespan. All right. So that, of course, this component actually. Can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, so naturally, the DC motor and the alternator actually built to last for decades. Okay, so they almost don't develop fault, but I won't say they don't, but I would say they almost do not develop fault by the nature of their makeup, of their build-up. Okay, so since it has wheeling part, we actually advise we allow it to rest. That is when you are using one power unit. But if you want to mitigate that, you want to bridge that gap, you can have two or more. Okay, so all you just need to do, we have an automatic system right there, so that while you are switching between the generator, there's no power outage. Okay, so you just switch from one to the other. Maybe this one now you might not even run it for 19 hours. You can just run one for maybe 12 hours. Then it moves to the next 12 hours. It moves to the next, like that. But if you're running on a single power unit, you can just run it 19 hours and then the rest 5 hours. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So I will allow Engineer Dele Fadipe to continue from here to continue moderating for me here. The next question will be that what are the realistic advantage that the mechanical energy source has over the sustainable electricity type, like the solar and biogas resources?
Okay, thank you so much. So the difference is, or the advantage is actually sky high. Unlike other ones, the mechanical electric generator doesn't rely on battery. Okay, so the energy is not stored in any battery. So there is no need to begin to change batteries maybe from time to time. Okay, because batteries naturally reduces in efficiency over usage. Okay, so that's one. And another is it doesn't depend on weather condition, day or night. Its effectiveness is all time. Super. Yep.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Jebo. Very fantastic solution there. I've seen one myself, so I know what it looks like, a fuel generator. So the next question people are asking is, for a 5-bedroom duplex, what will it cost me in terms of financials and on others to run fully on the mechanical electricity 247? Please use a breakdown form or a complete installation you have done for an individual property. A private investor wants to go into this.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, like other speakers have said in the first session, who actually spoke about solar system and all of that. Okay, you really can't give an exact, amount of power, for any apartment, because what the capacity of generator you need is actually dependent on your appliances, okay, what you want to power with it and what is in there. So an apartment can be 50-bedroom duplex, okay, and all it needs is just 1 kVA by the appliances in it, okay. So for anybody to have an accurate figure of what capacity, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. For anyone to have an accurate load figure, there has to be a load check. Okay, but I can give you a scenario, okay, of what you can have. So right here I've done something. Okay, well, I'm going to be using kVA. Okay, that is when you have up to 1,000 watts, you have a kVA. Okay, so I'm going to be using kVA, that is just generator capacity, okay, to let you know and what you can use in an apartment, either a 1-bedroom, a 50. But if you have this set of appliances or gadgets, then you are good to go. Okay, so if you're going to be using 1 kVA, that 1 kVA, okay, I also try to let you have a picture in your mind, is a little bit higher, or probably ×2 the I Better Pass My Neighbor generator. If you know what that is, what we call the Tiger I Better Pass My Neighbor generator, that small gen, okay, is like ×2 of it. So 1 kVA will be about ×2 or at least above 1 of that. Okay, so you can use 4 fans, you can use 10 bulbs, okay, 2 television sets, washing machine, no. Okay, I just listed some things that I believe a typical average home or apartment would actually need. Okay, so washing machine, you wouldn't use any. AC, no. Pumping machine, no. Refrigerator, no. Hot plate, no. Laptop, 1. Okay, that's for 1 kVA. And you can do that for 750,000 in Nigeria currency. Okay, so again, if you're going to use 3 kVA kind of mechanical fuelless electric generator, that 3 kVA is, I mean, you know, those ones where when you have, and of course you can actually use key to start it, and you know, it comes on, if you know, by the traditional generator out there. So for 3 kVA, you can use 5 bulbs. You can use 20 bulbs. You can use 5 fans. You can use 4 television sets. You can use 1 washing machine. You can use 1 AC. You can use 1 pumping machine. You can use 1 refrigerator. You can use 1 hot plate, and you can use 3 laptops on it. So for 5 kVA, and that will cost you just 1.650 million. Just 1.650 million. I mean, and seriously, I believe an average home can use 3 kVA sustainably. Now, 5 kVA is another one I did the rating for. And then for 5 kVA, you can make use of 8 fans, 35 bulbs, 6 television sets. You know, we have that in the apartment. Washing machine, 1. You can use 2 AC. You can use 2 pumping machine. You can use 1 fridge. You can use 1 hot plate, and you can use about 4 laptops. Okay, and that 5 kVA will go for 3.6 million. Again, this is a very efficient, I mean, sufficient capacity gen set for any typical home to use.
Wow.
So I'll just let you have that, but I want you to note something, that all the fridge, laptop, yeah, their wattage for the fridge, for example, should be 80 watts. The laptop should be 50. The hot plates, 300 watts. The washing machine, 120 watts. The pumping machine should be like about 700 watts. You understand? So these are
so it comes with some conditions, basically.
Those appliances should carry, and of course, they are available right there in the market. Thank you.
Thank you so much for breaking that down. I think that's quite explicit. You have 1.6, you have 2 point, what do you call it? 2 point what for the 3.5 kVA?
Okay, 1.6 for the 650 for the 3.5 kVA, and then 3.6 for the 5 kVA.
For 5 kVA. Thank you so much for that detailed breakdown. Very importantly, you said we also need to check the rating of the equipment we place on them. The next question for you, sir, is how much monthly and annual running and maintenance cost would this require? These generators, the fuel-less generators, how much monthly maintenance or annual maintenance would it require?
Okay, so like every other green energy stuff, you know, it's almost zero or no usage cost or maintenance cost. But on this, of course, I'll just keep it because, of course, you need to just do some kind of maintenance, your wheeling part and all of that, you know. So averagely, annually, and with a budget of 40 to 50,000, yeah, you're good to go.
Okay, so you said with 40 to 50,000, you're good to go per annum.
Yes, please.
And do we need to call you, or would the optical need to call you periodically? You know, with normal generators, once in a while there are some setbacks. Maybe the plugs are wet. In this case, you are not using you don't have a carburetor, so you don't have a carburetor in this case, right? So it's the downtime is reduced. But if there's a downtime, what is your response time?
Okay, so you really don't need our presence to run the maintenance, because we're going to give you guide, because there are no technical parts that you really need to. I mean, the technical parts you really don't need to go there. You don't even see it. Don't even see it, as it were. There's really no part where you need to.
Yeah, you need a technician to handle it.
Technician. So probably just like the solar system, you said you just have to clean. You don't need to call a solar engineer to come and clean the board panel. You need to just get a ladder that gets there, and then so for this system also, it's just this motor and the alternator. So really, I almost cannot tell you this is what will go wrong and what will not go wrong. But naturally, and even if there is need, is what we can explain to you, or you just subscribe into our yearly, maintenance program, and then you are sure that when anything happens, we come to you, and then we do it. Of course, we're already training.
Fantastic.
We are training a lot of people to just know how to maintain these things, all around the place. And soon, it's also going to go viral.
Okay. The last question for you, sir. What are the setbacks, and how have you mitigated them?
Okay. One setback, one major setback about this mechanical electric generator is that the parts, that is the major components, are not what you can easily repair and bring it back to normal. Once you fix it, you are sure to keep getting issues. Okay, because the way they are built, just like recoiling a generator set, the traditional generator set out there. Once you recoil your gen, that gen is done working. Okay, it's done giving you the efficient supply it's been giving you. But good news, because this major component of this mechanical electric set actually are built, like I said, you can verify. Okay, anyone can verify this information. You talk about DC motor, when you talk about alternators, they almost never get, damaged or, totally condemned, something like that. So, but of course, even when anybody that is getting this from us, there's guarantee, but 20 years, we give you guarantee of 20 years, and then you have about 5 years warranty from us if anything goes wrong.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Ejebo, for this time and for the knowledge shared. I believe we can proceed to the next speaker and facilitator we have. Mr. Imam will be speaking with us on zero interest property financing. I don't know if you are online. Can you please signify? Are you online, sir? Do you have Mr. Imam online? Okay, let's go to the next facilitator while we wait for Mr. Imam to come back. Do we have Dr. Okubene online?
Yes, I'm online.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you for coming online. So we'll go straight to your presentation. The first question we have for you, sir, is as a renowned realtor, having worked with several clients and developers, can you itemize some of the typical property buyer questions before they make their decision, and how you normally advise them to overcome their resistance to buying?
Okay, so typical questions clients usually ask is, do I need this? So when they ask questions like, do I need this? The real question they are trying to ask is, they're trying to find out if this would have any benefits to them. If, like, do they need it for shelter? Like, what's the purpose they need it for? Like, do they need it for residential, or do they need this for commercial purpose, or do they need this for investment purpose? So that's the first question. Like, do I really need it? So, and those are the different areas that they usually ask for. So it will now determine what they are looking at. Then the second one is, can I afford this? Can I afford this? This is a very, very important question they always ask, because some people don't even know if they can afford it until you let them know the price. Because some people see things in some locations and they think they can afford it, but only to hear the price and realize that they cannot afford it yet. Because, like, for instance, certain locations, maybe in Lagos, Nigeria, for example, maybe like Lekki Phase 1, Abraham Adesanya, Ikota, those areas are kind of, or Ikoyi, or Ikeja, those areas are kind of areas for people that are HNIs or people that are wealthy to an extent. And certain areas like Owe or Fada, Ekpe, and the likes are areas where low income earners can afford. So that's an important question they usually ask. Then another one is how authentic is, how genuine is this property? Because why are they asking this question is because a lot of investors have gotten their hands burnt in the past, like buying land that they ended up finding out that was not really owned by the person selling them. Yeah, probably lied to them or was not the original owner. So that's why they always ask how authentic is this land.
Okay, so how do you normally advise them in such a situation where they're asking a lot of questions, like you have said, if they can really afford it, do they really need this? So how do you then advise them?
So when they ask me a question like how affordable is this, I give them different options and locations that matches that what they can afford. For instance now, that question that can I afford it, sometimes it opens up to let you know that this person is this the level of earning the level of earning is. Like, some people don't earn, some people are low income earners, some people are middle income earners, and some people are high income earners. So from that affordability, you now know, I will now recommend to them options in their earning income bracket.
In their budget.
Yeah, so that I will not waste time showing the person something he cannot even afford, or something his life savings cannot even afford to purchase. So I just play around properties and investments that is within his earning capacity.
Thank you so much, sir. Apologies for the background noise. He's in the music moving vehicle, so there's some noise at the background. I'm sure we'll overcome it very soon. Okay, you want to say something again, or should we go to the next question, sir?
Yeah, go to the next one, sir.
Okay. Can you itemize some green light pointers for buyers to get green light pointers for buyers to get most profitable investment? What are the green light pointers that buyers should look at, and what are the most profitable investments they can look at?
Okay, the pointers they should look out for is location. Yeah, location. Yeah, there are certain locations that are profitable, that brings high return on investment that they have to look out for. And there are some locations that are right now are not good for investment, because if they invest in those locations, their investment is likely to stagnate. It's not going to appreciate, or they're going to get very low returns on investment, or even little or no returns on investment. Because a location that is developed already would definitely bring them high return on investment. Then another factor they should look out for is presence of government. Yeah, presence of government in that area. Like, for instance, a good location that is good to invest in, maybe for instance, like Ibejuleki, there is presence of the Dangote refinery in that area. For instance, like Ibejuleki, there's presence of government hospitals. Areas that have government hospitals, schools, public schools, and banks, hospitals, those are areas that are very, very good for investment. And there will be basic amenities like the good road network, electricity, and even water. Those are areas, those are things they have to look out for. Then another pointer. The another pointer that they can look out for again is things like security. How safe is that area? How safe is that area? Is there any police station around that area, that in the locality, that in case there's anything, how safe is the place? Like security, is there a security outfit in that area that can protect lives? So that's another one to look out for. Then the other one is title. Yeah, what's the title of that property? Is it a CFO? Is it a accession in process? Is it freehold? Is it a freehold title? Is it or is it a committed land that is not free from government possession? So those are things they must look out for. Then another key thing they have to look out for is, does it have a payment plan, flexible payment plan? Like would it be like 3 months, 6 months? Even some are up to 6 months, 12 months. Even some are up to 2 years, even 5 years. I've seen properties that even have mortgage up to 15 years, payment plan, even 7 years. So those are good things they look out for. And then another very, very key factor is knowing the original owner or company that owns such property, or family that owns that property. Knowing the original owner that owns it, that's another key thing to look out for when trying to buy property.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Another question is that, can you itemize red flags? You talk about the green flags now, which somehow you also listed some of the red flags. But if you can take a few seconds to specifically attempt on red flags and pointers and buyers to avoid any form of property losses.
Okay. So another key factor that they have to look out for is like maybe you are dealing with people. When you are dealing with a developer or a family that have no office, is a big red flag. Somebody wants to sell property, they have no office. You should be afraid. Then 2, you are trying to buy a property, it has no documents. You should be scared. It has no documents. Like they are just trying to sell a house or a land to you, and you're asking, where's the document? And they're saying, we don't have documents. They are just telling you it's just receipt. Avoid such, because genuine lands must have a document. Genuine properties must have an office. Then another one is websites. They should have a website. In today's real estate, they should have a website. Okay, then. Okay, somebody's asking.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take the questions later, sir. Just go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So office, a website, then the documents. It must have a good document. The property must have a good document or title on it. Then another one again is this: is that if someone wants, another red flag you must look out for, if they are not taking you to the exact location where the land is. If they are not taking you to the exact location where the land is, it's a red flag, because they can't. You can't just be selling land by mouth. You must be able to take you to where exactly the property is. Then, then another one is survey document. It's very, very key. The survey document of that land to show me that it's charting and the readings on the with the Lagos State or that state government, showing me the survey document. If you can't show me the survey document of that land, it's a red flag.
Thank you so much.
The final one is, you should not pay cash for your property. If a company is telling you that it's only cash they collect, it's a red flag. It's a big red flag, because it will be, the transaction will not be traceable, and there's no evidence. There will be no evidence of showing that you even did transaction with that company.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I think you've extensively dealt with this. It's very important that we ask questions these very pertinent questions, especially for the red flags that Doctor have shared with us this afternoon. I think we'll come back to you during the question and answer time, Dr. Kubene. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next facilitator because of time, so that we can quickly go to other activities for the day that we have scheduled. So I believe we have Dr. Imam now.
I'm back online. Thank you for holding forth. Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome, ma.
Yes,
it's a pleasure. You can have the floor, ma. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to the Hello?
Okay, I think we lost you for a minute, but we can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. I was asking if Mrs. Kifaya can hear me because she's next. Because I can't hear her.
Okay, we actually missed Mr. Imam, so maybe we should go to him first before we go to Mr. Kifaya.
Okay, so it's Mr. Imam. Mr. Imam, are you there? He's going to be talking about zero interest property financing. Are you there, sir?
I'm with you.
Okay, welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
Just very unfortunate. I'm delayed to be one of the last speakers because you can see me in Agbada. My sister today is clocking 60. We are the party. You know, for me to not to be there for more than 2-3 hours, you know, is something else. I greet you all. Good evening, each and every one of us on the platform. I'm so glad for this our Flora Homes giving us this opportunity. Personally, I've learned a lot from this platform. I think I listened to the conversations from the first facilitator to the sixth one before I opt out. I went to go and take something. Just to take us to the finance aspect. The lawyer, even Mr. Nuruddin, have mentioned some prudent and very, very important aspects of getting a finance from a bank, particularly
but
from
actually we have some questions here just so that people will be able to follow. I will just take the questions and then you address them. Yes, thank you, sir. So the very first one is it really zero interest for someone to get money to buy their dream home from your bank? And how does the financing company then earn money, or is it a charity organization? So this is the first question from someone concerning the zero interest property financing. Thank you, sir.
In non-interest financing, it's not just money for more money. That's interest. There must be service or commodity on the line of transaction. When you approach the bank now, a non-interest financial institution, that you want a mortgage, what they will ask you is, who is your vendor? Understand? And the vendor, when we do our due diligence by having the title document perfected, if you haven't got the title document perfected, that means that will be we have a legal department in the bank that will see to that. And we must do the legal search. Even the last or the previous owner are in line with the sales of that property. So when that is clarified and confirmed true, then the bank can come in and we will even go to the extent of valuing that property so that we won't pay above the board for a lesser property on that huge price tag. So doing this, when we pay directly, the bank will pay directly to the vendor, the estate man, we will pay directly to him on behalf of our customer. And that when we buy the
Oh, I think we have lost him. He's on the move, so the network. Okay, thank you. Welcome back.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes.
avail it to our customer. That's we call that is in our own time is lease to own. Lease is lease to own. This is making the facility based on contract of and allow. Alon, are you with me?
We are with you.
Okay. That means we buy the property on behalf of our customer. We pay directly to the vendor and we avail the sale to our customer. Cost plus markup. That markup is our own profits. You know, in the conventional way of doing it, we just give the money to the customer, go and buy a property. When you buy the property, or you can divert the funds to do something else. On that premises, it's just for the bank to get its own money and the interest upon it. But in the Islamic mode of financing, that money must change nature. Changing nature to a building, to equipment, to commodity, to service. And we buying these things, we avail the customer the opportunity to buy from us because he has made his interest known by requesting for such facility from the bank. So in doing this, are you with me?
Yes, we are, sir.
Oh, okay. Buying this, will be a markup. That markup is paying renter. The paying renter, you will be buying the renter charge and the ownership grip. Assuming I didn't mean the property is 10 million. From the onset, when you set paying, as you are paying the principal, you are paying the renter because the property is available to the customer if the one using it will be paying rent. Paying renter plus that principal is making the markup. That's what we call cost plus markup. That's markup is our own profits. And we have flexibility of tenure here from a year, 2, 3 to 5 years. The campaign where I work in the East, you can pay 2 5 years. If it is so enormous, they can go through and have a concession with the buyer, and we can even extend that to about 7 years.
Awesome.
So that's the nature. That's how it changes from. We will take our that markup is our own profit because the money changed nature. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So somebody's quickly asking. He says, "What bank?" This is Jai's Bank, please. Thank you.
Jai's
so
Bank.
The second, sir.
Is Jai's Bank.
Yes, Jai's Bank. Okay, sir. So the next question, somebody is asking, is there a limit? What is the limit? If I want to finance my property, what is the limit on the amount that you can give anybody to buy their dream home? So they want to know, is there a limit?
Yes, there is a limit. We took into cognizance the actual financial strength of that customer or company in this scenario. According to the labor law, if it is individuals, the repayments, if it is monthly, if it is quarterly, if it is biannually, should not go beyond 1/3 of the earning of that particular company or particular individual. Understand? For an ease management of his own financial requirements. So when we look at it, somebody taking 300,000, for instance, he can pay us more than 100,000 per month, monthly for his to pay back his obligation with the bank. Because when we take 100,000, there is 200,000 for that person to take as his own take home. If you eat into his own personal engagements or affair, it won't be easy for that person to pay us. So that is what if it is a salary earner, we want to know actually how much is he taking. We want a letter of introduction from his employer. We want want to know how much year left for the person in service and how much years he has spent in service already. Understand? All this we want to know. And we do a credit search for that person. Does Mr. A or Mrs. B, is she or she is owing any bank? So we need a letter of non-indebtedness, which is using any bank for now. We need those things in place. And after that, another one I want to add up. For that property you want to buy, we do legal search. We do a legal search. Yes, we do legal search before putting money. Even we save a lot of our people who approach the bank. They didn't know, as Brother Nuruddin and our lawyers have spoken earlier, that we need all this to be on ground before we venture into buying any property. Understand? When you buy today, somebody can push the land or the building tomorrow and seal it up. And they've taken your money already. This is what the bank will do because they don't want to even put our own. That's it for that.
Thank you so much, sir. So the final question, of course, somebody's asking again, what scheme is this? Mr. Imam is from Jaiz Bank. Jaiz Bank, please. Okay, so the final question, somebody is saying that, okay, so if I want to get funding, property financing from this bank, what is there a step by step, 1, 2, 3, of what I need to do to be able to get financing? I know you've touched on a bit of it, but just maybe itemize. And then the person wants to know, how long does it take before the money is disbursed for me to now buy the property? Thank you.
First step is having an account with the East Bank. If it is for individual, you must domicile your salary account. If for the company, you are the moment you open that account, you are good to go. And if it is an individual, after the first hit of your salary into that account, you are good to go. And step by step is after having account with your East Bank, you give us your BVN, you get that right. You give us your valid means of identification, introduction letter from your employer, and order taken from you, and all this will be in place. After all this is in place, we have tax identification, the evidence that you are paying tax as individual or company. And we will see if it is company, want to see 1 or 2 years statement of account from your previous banker. This is what you will do to write up what we investment appraiser that will appraise you. Somebody who are not doing a business of 10 million, you approaching the bank to buy a building of 150 million. Will you get that huge amount to pay back? Those are the things. If it is a company, we want a year or 2, what we call it, statement of account from your previous bankers. So this when we have this with us, and then we see that the property you want to have a perfected title documents, be it government consent, be it what we call registered list of assignment, which will later be seen into by our legal department to obligate to update that to governor consent for us. And if you have C of O in place, they are good and nice for the bank to go into the business. That's that.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. We appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you for answering the questions. We are moving on to the final speaker before we take the questions. And I would like to introduce.
Hello, sir. Take my vote?
Sir?
Can I take my vote? Permission.
Okay, no, let me quickly, I think maybe we should just quickly take the questions because some people have specific questions for you in the chat chat box. So the two questions, somebody says he lives outside Nigeria. He doesn't have up to 50 million upfront. What can he do? The second question, 1 second. Let me just... So somebody says, if the bank bought the property for 10 million,
why
not sell the property to their customers, paying a percent towards the rent? Once you answer these questions, you're free to take your leave. Thank you.
Okay, I got the second question, right? He wants us to know the percentage charged by the bank is very relatively competitive in the industry anyway. I will have to tell you specifically, but it's not their issue. Understand? You can our Flora Homes can give each and everyone my own this thing. I can tell you, but I don't want to say it on this platform. Understand? The first question, please. I didn't get that one.
Oh, the other question is someone says he's outside the country and he doesn't have 50 million to, for instance, if he doesn't have 50 million to drop up front, what can he do? Yes.
He may not drop anything. If there's equity contribution, we call that. If you don't have any equity contribution, understand. What the bank do is to show commitment by the customer in getting that property. If you were sure where you are working, they give us the backup that it has a good job and it has the capability financially to pay. What we do, we don't rule out because for the salary earner, the security on that investment on that financing is majorly point around the salary domiciliation, and again having the title document submitted with the bank. Understand? When we have those things, we don't have any problem in giving out such a facility. For somebody not around, let him be sure that like Flora Home is our customer. Like Flora Home is our customer in their East Bank. We know that he can't sell any problematic property for you. And we have host of estate companies, builders with us. So if you want to buy directly from them, we know how much they are selling and how sincere these people are. They are in business, and for real, they are in business. So we have another circle from our own end that property we want to pay for is good and nice.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you. So we'll move on to the... Yes, sir. We'll move on to the next and final speaker, and I'd like to invite Engineer Kifaya, green and futuristic architectural enthusiasts and real estate investment advisor at Flora Homes Global Concepts. Kifaya, Mrs. Kifaya, are you available now?
Yes.
Hey, my brother.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, hello, we can hear you. We can hear you. Welcome, ma.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will just quickly go into the questions. And the very first question is, how can one get zero annual service fee?
Business or
oh, sorry, can you mute your mics, please? Other people, can you all mute your mics? Thank you.
Video me.
Hello?
Hello, I'm here. Sorry.
All right, thank you. I mean, I just wanted every other person muted. Yeah, so they're saying, how can one get 0 annual service fee for a fully serviced apartment? Even me, I'm excited to hear how that is possible. How you can get 0 service fee on a fully serviced apartment. Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here. I'm really honored. You see, let me keep this. From what the speakers before me have said, you will realize that if the planning for a 0 service is done before the building is put up, I mean, right from the planning of the building, you will realize that you will get a relatively minimum service fee that will be close to 0. Imagine when we ask the mechanical electricity expert, how much annually are we going to be using to manage or to maintain the electrical generator? Despite the fact that this generator does not use fuel, it doesn't use anything, just to run on mechanical. He says 50,000. So if you're paying 50,000, for example, annually to get 247 electricity, you know that this is awesome. We know how much we pay monthly to get electricity. Now, this and other sustainable means that you can get close to 0 management fee. Now, what if you want to get the actual 0 service fee for a lifetime? It means that the only way this is possible is by you being part of a community. This is not possible when your building is alone. You can have a low service charge when your building is a single unit built outside an estate. But if you really want to enjoy 0 service, it means that you belong to a community, and the community where you belong, all of you cooperate, and then you do that. So somebody was telling me recently that they got priority electricity. And with that priority electricity, they have electricity like 20 hours per day from this same national grid, for example. And how much are they paying? Not really much. But you see, because it's a communal estate and all of them cooperate, it makes it easy for them. So, like, for example, Engineer Sadiq rightly mentioned that you can get electricity from biogas. However, you cannot get it from your waste, from the waste you get from your home. It has to be from maybe cow dung and all that. But you can't do it alone. If you want to generate this electricity, that's the fact that it's cheap.
Yes.
You still have to belong to the communal. Then another thing is that,
so community.
Yes,
it's about community.
Exactly. So another thing is that these communities sometimes they create certain services.
Thank you.
So they create certain services like maybe mini malls where people can rent, and then they generate money from these buildings, so that at the end of the day they will use it to finance basic services like the security, the water, and all. And in all honesty, assets like this already exist where people pay 0 fee, lifetime. Wow. Yes, it exists.
Wow.
You understand? So, and we are planning our. So, but that's about that.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Kifaya. So the next question is from an advisor's point of view. We've gotten a point of view of a lawyer, an estate surveyor, and different people. But from an advisor's view, how does one know a good property offer? How do you know that this offer is good? It makes sense. How does one know? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the question. I would say before you can know if a property is profitable, you need to as well know how to dodge certain property bullets. Because you know what? They say for everything that has pros, there has to be cons. So before you jump on anything, you need to understand that there are cons too for some things and how to avoid those things. So people that have spoken before me, they mentioned some of these things. So I will not be delving so much into that, but I would like to make some certain examples. So there was a time a client called us that there was a property in Aja, I think like a plot of land going for 50 million naira. with allocation letter. At a time when that same plot of land in Ada is selling for about 20 to 30 million naira, in fact, around 30 million. So we are getting it like it is half. It makes sense because it was large expanse, and then this person claims to be a distressed seller, that he just needs money. You just want to sell maybe like 5 plots. So it makes a lot of sense to actually think that somebody wants to sell just maybe 5 plots from 100 plots, even at half the price. So we got these allocation letters, and then we did search. The truth is that this allocation letter was forged. It was not traceable at all. Do you understand? So things like this are one of the reasons why we say that, no matter how good an investment seems, you still need to do what we call your due diligence. And when we say due diligence, complete verification. It's not just I send the document to my lawyer. My MD said the other time, you send the document to the lawyer, but the lawyer cannot do the work of a surveyor, and the surveyor cannot do the work of a lawyer. The same way some people will say, I just gave it to my lawyer. It's the same way some people will say, I just gave it to my surveyor. But the point is that we need some other professionals too. All of them need to work hand in hand together. The supervisor has to be there to supervise and, correctly call the activity.
So basically, as other people have said, you still have to do your due diligence to make sure that, just as others have said, you have to do your due diligence.
Exactly. So when all this is done, we cannot be talking about, okay, so how do I know a property transaction is very profitable for me? So some of the steps we look into when we are considering profitable transactions, especially for our clients and of course for ourselves. Number one of the things we check is documentation. So, and when we talk about documentation, we are not just talking about the legal documentation. We have so many documentation when it comes to property investment that are not just legal. Like the one that we use at the physical planning, for example, they are not legal documentation, but they are regulation documentation that if you don't have them, you will just keep paying fine for life. You know what I mean? The government agencies, they will come every time and you have to bribe them. Like you don't have a building approval for the building you are putting up. They will come almost all the time to they will say in fact, on a normal ground, the fee you will pay, they call it penalty. It's like a price for what you should have paid. If you do it by the normal process, after signing, process them for approval. Some other documentation that they are not really legal, but they are very important is like surveys. Dr. Kubena mentioned that, and I think you need to mention that, it's the survey that will tell us, because for example, if we send a lawyer to this site, for example, and the lawyer the surveyor, we send the surveyor to this site, and then the lawyer and the surveyor coordinate. How do we correlate that?
Sorry, engineer, I might have to cut you here, because I think it's also in line with everything every other person has said in terms of make sure you just follow the process to confirm. Exactly. Yes,
we talk about location. So what we're just trying to achieve is that there are different perspectives to this thing, and basically everybody has talked about it. You can have 2 plots of land side by side. One will be going for 2 million and the other one will be going for 30 million, and they are side by side. So even though it is location, but you have to consider some other things. Then another point to consider is when they call you for an offer in property investing, you need to ask for other charges too. Sometimes the other charges, they are even more than the actual offer you are called to purchase. So you need to confirm all that. Then some other things we look at for is the landmarks within the location. So we are here in Ibejuleki, you need to consider certain landmarks that control traffic. Because what we need in real estate investment is actually traffic. If you can get that right, believe me, you will have an amazing profitable investment.
All right.
So what we do is consider amenities within an estate. So estimation of particular estate, where land is going for 30 million within, Meanwhile, right beside it, lots of land are actually sold for as low as 4 million naira. These estates ensure that they have 247 electricity, all their roads are tarred and all that. So amenities are some of the things that determine how much and if you will have a valuable. Do you understand? So we have some estates that is 500 acres. And 50 acres is used for green area, just green area, in order to make it very beautiful. You know, these 50 acres they use for green area, the money is going to be corrected on the remaining 50 plots that they are selling flat, the remaining 50 acres that they are planning.
Okay. Engineer, sorry, let me just go. I have to go on to the next question. Yes, please. So thank you. The next question is somebody is talking about return on investment here. So it says you have seen different offers. Some people will say 10%, and some people will say 100% per annum. And so this person is confused and scared because he's not sure which one is correct. Is it, how does one know the right investment return per annum with practical scenarios based on your experience? How does one know that, okay, this investment is not a scam? True, I'm going to get up to 10% per annum or whatever they are promising. How can one determine this? Thank you.
All right. Okay, so basically, there is no fixed amount for return on investment when it comes to real estate. That's the truth. You can get 10% per annum, especially if you go for the is it conventional buying and letting, or conventional I build it and I'm letting it. You will get around 5% to 10% per annum. But if you go for some other ways, like we have some people that are into hospitality. They build this project and then they are letting them for hospitality. When it comes to hospitality, it's daily payment. Even though we have to put into consideration the fact that you can't get booked year in, year out, or day in, day out, there has to be some days of vacancy. You can even say 60% vacancy. But even despite this, the return on investment can be up to between 50 to 100%. That's the truth. Do you understand? I remember that we even did this calculation and broke it down, even when we apply 60% vacancy per annum, when it comes to hospitality letting. So that's about that. There's some other type of investment. We'll call you that, okay, come to us, let's put money together, let's develop this project, or let's, bring this project to life. And when we are selling, you are going to make back your money. The moment you are selling, so it's not like you are investing per se, you are buying into the project in order to earn the profit when they are selling. After the phase one, or maybe the phase of development has been achieved. So that's another type. Then there is another type that is not really popularly talked about, because I think it's not really talked about because it involves a lot of money. We call it sponsorship investment. And majority of the ballers in real estate, that is what they do. You see them as estate developers sometimes. You see some of them as, like they don't work. But that is what they do. What is this sponsorship investment? They help people to sponsor their project. Like Omonile wants to clear their land, they help them to clear it. On negotiation of, you clear 1 acre, you get 1 plot. Take a case scenario of Aja, for example. There's still land clearing, land reclamation. It can be reclamation. You help them to stand still, and when you stand still, they do you understand? You will share the land 50-50. All you have to do is calculate how much are you going to be putting in this project and how much are you going to be getting back when they give you 50% of whatever you put in. You understand? So you will see those investments on all those third mainland bridge. You see some people sand filling it. It's investment. So it's not government that is doing all those sand filling. And do you know the truth about these things? They make as much as 1,000%. Do you understand? On investment, but you see the risk is high too. So before you can be asking which do you really want to go to, I say when you see investments that are being advertised to you, you don't really need to be skeptical. Ask questions. What does it really involve? If you know what it involves, you don't need to be scared.
So it appears, apologies, Engineer Kifaya, it appears you have gone into my next and final question, sort of.
Oh, really?
Because so here is talking about how, because I'm hearing you talk about how people can make money and you know, all of those things.
Talking about the range of profit.
Oh, the role of government. Okay.
The range of profit. I was talking about the range.
The profit range. Okay.
So
I thought I heard something about making money.
Yes, it will depend on
because
how much.
The next question is about making money.
What do you say?
The next question is about money making, and I'm sure people are seriously waiting for that.
Which one is money making? Let me check the question.
No, it's about the owner earner REUI.
No.
Somebody is talking about how people make 70% and all that.
Yes. So this I've not really considered this. And the point is that if you have any investment offer that they bring to you, you know, some of the things you need to consider is how much money you have in your pocket that you want to invest. Then what is your risk appetite? You know, because real estate investment involves a lot of risk, especially when you are doing all those hand filling and projects. Sometimes things are not sure. You know, things are not as they are packaged online or the way they seem. There are a lot of risk involved. So just ask your question and you'll be fine. So then how much duration are you willing to drop your money will determine how much you're going to make. So for example, we had some people that bought into our own earner, which I'm going to still talk about here now. You know, some of them had bought it like 2 years ago, and now it's appreciating. They have over 100% appreciation. But the truth is that it belongs to them. It's their land. And before they can make that money back in cash, it has to mean that they resell it. But the point is that the risk is very low. And then when they resell it, they make their money. But when people are looking for quick cash, they won't be able to do that, even though it is very profitable. So I believe that answers the question. So my final question. Hello. Can I continue with the final question? I read about own and real estate unit investment, and some people make 70% and all that. Okay, so what does this really mean, and how can someone be part of it? Okay, so basically, real estate unit investment means that instead of buying a whole plot, you can buy in square meter. You know, a plot of land is made up of square meter in sizes. Generally, a plot of land is supposed to be 648 square meter, but as it is around 450, it is 500, it could be any size. It could even be 1 acre. Do you understand? So there is no standard size for a plot of land, even though the standard in Nigeria used to be 648 square meter. But now it is in Lagos, it's 450 square meter. Now, this square meter is a unit of own earner unit for land. Now, another person can come and say, it is building I want to sell, and a unit of this building costs maybe 2 million naira. So if you come together, you can own this unit. Do you understand? So what you are owning is property. You leave it to appreciate. You can decide to resell it. You can decide to let it, depending on what it's meant for. If it is land you buy, you can actually set a goal and then you can build on it. You know, the only thing is that you can buy it as if you are doing a job contribution. You can pay weekly, like weekly contribution, monthly contribution, etc. So that is one of the beautiful things about it. So another thing is that when people enter through the own earner package, it means that they are our partners. And as our partners, we share profit. So when they refer someone, they get 10%, unlike our agents normally that get 5%. So basically, that is what it is all about. And I believe that our Flora Care Manager will post all the questions and all the numbers of all the speakers into that group so that everybody can, you know, contact any of the speakers they are interested in. So I believe I'm done with my question. Thank you for having me. Is our moderator there?
I think there's another question you've not answered now.
Hey.
So why should I choose to live in an estate when I can build my own apartment to my satisfaction.
Okay. Okay, so basically we have different advantages which had already been mentioned under how can one get annual service. There are so many other advantages when it comes to, and majorly it is the services. You know, when you belong to a communal setting, we have heard of people dying in the house, even in an estate too, it does happen. So that is why we encourage people that instead of just living in an estate or just living alone, try and look for a communal estate where interaction increase. Because with higher interaction, it boosts longevity, it boosts happiness and the longevity of the occupant. So that way, it makes life easier. Then instead of, you know, single-handedly carrying all the burden when it comes to services, it makes you to be relieved. So even as a single building, you want to build your building alone, you want to live alone, just make sure you consider having tenants. I mean, when we say live communal or live in an estate, it doesn't really have to be big estate. It just means that you live communally. It helps you the more, it cuts costs, it even puts value on your own life. So basically, I don't know if I've answered it, but it's no longer in my question here.
I think you have. There's also this. You've also mentioned communal. There's been, so everybody has said communal. Even I also mentioned communal. Yes. So it so it says, okay, I've come across the word communal in different parts of the invitation to this webinar. What is a communal estate and how is it different from the regular estate? We know. Why should I choose a communal estate over the regular? I think you've answered the second part, but what's different between a communal estate and a regular estate, basically? And if you take the last question, how can one get zero annual service fee for a regular service apartment?
Okay, so I've answered that last one, how one can get zero service fee. So I will briefly talk about what makes the difference between a communal estate from a regular estate. So basically, you would have come across some building within a gated community. You know, they just have gates and they have fence. You know, maybe a fence that cuts around across all the entire estate. Maybe you have come across it, but nothing binds them together except for when they want to do security meeting and they say, come and contribute your money, or, you know, we need to be paying security men, you know, that is the only thing that binds them together. But when we are talking about communal estate, we are referring to a situation whereby there are so many facilities within that estate that brings people together by fire, by force. You know, the car park, for example, is communal. Everybody sees themselves almost every day. The swimming pool is communal. It's not like everybody have their own swimming pool, maybe on their rooftop or on their apartment. No, everything is communal. The sitting area is communal. You know, the cinema is communal. Almost everything within the estate is communal. That is the meaning. So this kind of estate, actually, I will know. People that live this kind of estate, they are happy and they live longer. So it doesn't mean that automatically they will just live longer, but it boosts happiness and it boosts health, mentally, physically, and etc. So I believe I've been able to answer.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a long time well spent. I have personally learned, usually we say 1 or 2, but in this case, I'll say I've learned 9 and 10. So let's quickly go to the question and answer. Okay. Is our facilitator, our moderator back, or should I go ahead? Okay, let me just go ahead. When I get the message, I'll let her know. So we have some questions here. Say, well done, sir. Please, what was the cost application for registration of the title? What is the cost to register a title? I think that's the question. The second question is, okay, she's back. I think she will have to pay me for doing her job. Are you back, ma?
No, she's not back. Please continue, sir.
Okay, all right. Let me take it. So I'll take the first question again. What is the cost for registration of title? The second question is what can we have the phone numbers? Of course, the phone numbers be shared. Say Mr. Shakuruddin, I'll be glad if you can assist me with your email address. That will be shared later. And we have a question for MD Flora Homes. So he talked about the verification by going to the land. Does this apply to the home and agreement too? I think we should take those two. The first question is, what's the cost implication for registration of land? And MD will take these questions. MD, sir.
Okay, I think I will take some of the questions because the MD is currently not on stage.
Okay,
so they're asking the cost of the cost of title perfection.
Yeah.
If Mr. Joseph is here, is he here? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, the lawyer, our lawyer. If
it's to him, yes.
Do we still have you online?
Yes, I'm still here.
Thank you, sir. So you may have the floor, sir.
Okay. For that question, as title documents, well, I'd say there's no fixed price, really. Is it because people need to understand that registration is a government thing. So you register a title with the government, either it's a CFO, either it's your governor's consent, or whatever it is. It could be direct allocation from government or whatever. So it's not like there's a fixed price. Now, I know government charges fees or their rates based on the area where the property is located. How much you're going to pay to register a title over a plot of land in Victoria Land is not the same you're going to pay over a plot of land in Abule Egba or Ikeja or somewhere. So they have their classification. Especially Lagos. And Lagos has been divided into.
Can we get the range, considering the fact that everybody is coming to Lekki Ada, Ibeju Lekki?
Yeah. Now,
is a scenario.
Okay. I think from my experience, I know Lekki Aja is under Etiosa local government. Up to it, yes, Etiosa. Now, Etiosa local government covers Etiosa. That same local government covers Ikoyi and Victoria Land. So that's premium. That's premium. So it's the same amount you're going to pay for all that area. Ibeju Lekki is a different local government. It's a little bit cheaper than Etiosa. So I usually tell clients just before we try and get assessment and all that, just prepare some millions of naira. Sometimes it ranges between
like how many million?
Sometimes 3, 4, 5 million thereabouts. And I'm aware this information. I'm aware that recently, when I mean recently, I mean under this current administration of Lagos State, they reviewed their fees. So it's more expensive now than it used to be. They reviewed their fees. So everybody should just get ready. 3, 4, 5 million, that range. Just keep it aside. If you have some change left, fine, good for you. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay, a follow-up question to your question to this. Somebody asked, after the registration of the title, does anyone still need to pay service charge if buying from a real estate company?
Does anyone still have to? I didn't get that. This can you take
okay, after the registration of the title, after the registration, you understand? If you are buying from a real estate company.
Yes. After registration of title, do you need to pay what?
Service charge.
Oh, service charge.
What you mean by service? Yeah.
Oh. Well, if I understand service charge, our service charges are paid on the properties themselves. That's not part of the title thing. After you've gotten your title, of course, you need to pay service charge if you are using the service charge. Can include your depending on the area and depending on the property and or the estate or the location or whatever it is the owners have put together a service charge. And I think Flora Homes can really talk about that more. Service charge can include your LOMA, your bills for electricity, your bills for water, and so many other things. So it depends on what they define as service charge. So the fact that you have a title doesn't mean you will not pay service charge. Exactly. They are two different things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. The next question is for MD, but I think Engineer Kafaya would handle that. He said he talked about verification by going to the land. Does this apply to the own and agreement too? Engineer, can you take that question?
Okay,
Engineer
yes,
Tom, we have a
sir.
question for you, so you'll be speaking next. Please, Professor.
Okay, so briefly, the on-earner agreement to any documentation that is to be executed, they actually need to pass through the right source. In fact, one of the reasons why when we send agreement to people, we tell them that we give them 48 hours so that if they can send it to their legal advisor before they execute it. And if there is anything they do not understand in it, they need to ask questions. The fact that we are Flora Homes and we verify property doesn't mean that automatically when we send something to you or when we give you something, you just take everything hook, line, and sinker. You know, you're advised to also engage third party. Sure, you understand, to help you to do certain confirmation before you go ahead. So I believe that is answered.
Yeah, but won't that amount to double payments if I trust Flora Homes to have done that? Why should I still engage a lawyer to go to land again and pay for that service?
The point is that we have actually done all those work, but anybody that needs double confirmation, we need to pay for the price. You know,
okay. So if it's outside of Flora Homes, they can go.
What do you say? It is the work we do.
Outside of Flora Homes.
Verification is the work we do. We collect money from clients to do verification for them. And we do the same thing for our properties before we sell them. But the point is that it doesn't stop any property investor to still verify before they go ahead. Just like my MD mentioned, we made mistakes in the past. And the fact that we know this thing doesn't save us from that mistake. So you understand? So it doesn't mean that we do the same thing repeatedly now because we put our structure in such a way that there is supervision after supervision. You know, even if we invite a surveyor from the Surveyor General Office of Lagos State, we still need to cross-check. As a matter of fact, there is one we just recently did. It's a survey of 5 acres of land. It's supposed to be done on a gazetted land at the boundary of that section of that gazette. But guess what? This surveyor cut half of that 5 acres into the committed acquisition, then half inside the gazette. So if we did not cross-check and we just sit back the other kind of it, like, okay, this is a surveyor from the Surveyor General Office, we wouldn't have known. And the moment we called his attention, he said, I'm sorry, I made mistake. So that is why when you engage professionals, we still need to cross-check. When you say, okay, you have engaged a lawyer, when we engage a lawyer, like our lawyer has said, we'll still cross-check. He will even tell us, oh yeah, cross-check, learn a colleague. So it is the things we do. If we engage a surveyor, we'll cross-check. If it is anybody we engage, we need to. So there is supervision in place that makes sure that everything is checked and balanced. So, but the point is that if they still want to go ahead to check any of these things, we don't stop them. We even send contracts to people before they make payments so that they can have the knowledge of what they're about to go into, and it can, it can help their decision making.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ma. The next question is for Engineer Tom. And the question is it possible to save or store energy during the day or high sun intensity to be used during the rainy days? So, I don't know if you got the question. Can you store up energy during the day to use during the rainy days?
Can you come again with the question? I can't hear you very well.
Okay, the question is it possible to save or to store energy during the day of high sun intensity to be used during rainy days? Did you get the question?
The network is so bad.
Engineer Fadipe, it appears your network
Can
is
other
bad
people
right
hear
now.
me? Can other people hear me?
I can't hear you very well, please.
Okay, is it better now?
It's a bit better. Come again with your question.
Yes, I think there's another correct. Is it better now?
It's fair, it's fair.
Is the network better now?
It's fair.
Okay. So, okay, sir. I think the question basically is asking, is it possible to save or store energy during the day of high sun intensity?
Of course. It's possible with the storage battery.
Did you get that question?
Yes. The question is it possible to store your energy during the day when you have high sun intensity? In fact, that is what makes the solar more efficient. And then if you have the storage facility in place, you can definitely do that. So it depends on what you are looking at. It depends on the hours of use that you want for your backup. So if you want 8 hours, you will have a design for a storage system, that is the battery, that will be able to take care of the hours of use accordingly. It goes like that, like that, like that. So it is possible, in as much you have enough solar panel to harness the energy from the sun that will now be converted later to your own use. So you have to have the considerable number of solar panel on the rooftop solar panel that will take the available amount of energy as much as it could, then transfer it down to your storage facility. You have it stored and you have it used as at when due.
The network is breaking. I don't know. Am I the only one missing out?
Hello, I have answered the question.
Hello?
Hello, I have answered the question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, it was breaking from my hand. I couldn't really hear you. Can you repeat it? I got the gist, but I think somebody mentioned just now that it's breaking on from my own hand too. So can you just repeat your answer?
Yes, I could. I said that it is possible for you to have the energy being stored, especially when the sun is high. So in as much as you have the necessary facility in place, like your panel and then your batteries. The battery is the storage device. The panel is the main component to take the sun energy to take it to a form where the battery can actually store. So when there is enough sun rays, you can have your energy being stored via your battery. And I said something that the hours of use you expect, that is the hours of use of your backup, depends on, the number of backup, the number of the battery you have to use depends on the hours of use. If you have 8 hours, 4 hours, 24 hours of a thing, that will determine the amount of battery you have to arrange for your solar panel to charge. So it's possible, and it is very, very realistic.
Thank you so much, Engineer Tom. I think you've answered the question. It's a very simple question, and the simple answer, yes, you can store up energy to be used during rainy days or when the sun intensity is low. And that's the reason you are using the solar panel system in the first place. Before we read other chats, we have a hand raised up. We have Asimi Mumini hand raised up. Please, I'm going to call you shortly, but we recognize the presence of one of our organs in the engineering space. Her name is Engineer Dr. Lola Adetono. Thank you so much, Ma, for coming online. Would you just give us the honor of just saying hello to the house?
Engineer Fadipe, the aim is not to say hello to the house. The aim is to enjoy this lecture, and thank you for sharing it on all our platforms. Good evening, everyone. It's really honoring to be here. I've listened throughout. I've listened, and it's really interesting. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ma. She is the past national chairman of Nigeria Institution of Civil Engineers, the national. So we are glad to have you here. We hope next time we will have the honor of you sharing a great wealth of knowledge and expertise with us, maybe in the next section. So I will take the hand raised up, asking me, sorry if I murdered your name, but please take the floor.
Yeah, thank you. It's Asimi Mumini. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I'm almost there. Well done, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask, most of the people that talked about the energy storage and the likes, those are in the realms of green energy. They've actually not mentioned the what's it called, the wind energy as a solution, because when you harness the wind energy on its own, you don't pay anything. What I mean by you don't pay anything, because unlike the solar, no solar just after few hours the solar system goes off. So what you have, the sunlight goes off. So what you still have wind during the night. Almost every time you have wind. So I think it's a kind of solution that you can also think about. So look towards that direction. So most of them did not mention about that, as that is made. Then about the biofuel, my question is, then that means it's not useful for just a building if you are an owner. So the biogas, you are not able to produce enough feces for your biogas. That means the biogas is not useful on its own as it is now. So except you have a community of people that you come together and have a general sewage system. So how do we make use? How can an individual generate enough biogas to power his own house? So if you are thinking about we are not looking towards the direction of winds and the likes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. The thing is, what Flora Homes have done is to bring specialists from different sphere of renewable energy. You have the smart home, you have the basically talking about properties and renewable energy and green technology, or let me put it in a nutshell, green building. Yes, what you have mentioned is very valuable. Wind energy is one aspect of engineering and green building or green technology that has not been tapped into, especially in Nigeria. So it comes very, very, as in it's cheap, because we are not going to spend any money, just like you said, apart from the setup system. But I believe if we have a specialist, I am not a specialist in that aspect. I'm sure the Flora Homes can think of that and look for somebody who would come and speak on that. It's another way of having a good energy mix. All of this discussion is about having a sufficient, sustainable energy mix that you can use either as an homeowner or, like we've all said, having to live in a communal setup like Flora Homes and Estates. And about the question about the biogas, I remember I saw that question on the chat room. The first advantage of the biogas technology is that you are not going to evacuate sludge at all. So the benefit is, first of all, that you're managing your sewage in such an environmentally accepted way. You don't need to go touch it. After installation, you have said bye-bye to evacuation of sludge or spending money on evacuation of sludge. The biogas benefit is what I usually like to call JARA. However, for you to really get this JARA, you need to do a lot of activity, which is generate a lot of waste. For cooking, you do not need to generate too much waste. It's viable for individual homes. But for an estate, even for an estate, you still need what is called cold digestion, like I mentioned earlier on. You need to bring in every kind of organic waste, leftover food, toilet waste, kitchen waste, animal dung, all of these to generate a very good feedstock or biomass that will give you the kind of energy that is required. Of course, if you have a system and you're only getting 1 hour or 2 hours, if the essence of using the biodigester system is just to get 1 hour outputs of energy, then it's not efficient. But for you to have 24 hours, then you need a lot of waste. It's just like if the intensity of the sun is not high, you will not be able to save or store up energy that will give you a good backup. If the wind energy is not there, then you won't have the energy that's required. So for every energy or for every renewable energy system, you need a feedstock. You need what will generate this energy. So to answer your question, Edon, for an estate, yes, you can generate enough power to run the system depending on how much load. You know, a lot of people have also talked about your power audits. How much load are you generating? How much load do you have, and how much energy will they consume? So that will determine how much backup time you would have. So basically, for a individual home, you can get cooking gas. For community, you can get cooking gas, and you can get power or electricity. I believe I've answered your question. If not, you can pick my number up later, and then we can talk on that. I've lost the chats on chats because I got logged out and logged in, so I don't have the questions anymore. So is there anything for us? Okay, Engineer Tom's hand is up. Engineer Tom, you may have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Engineer. I just want to corroborate what you actually explained before now concerning the questioner saying that people are not talking about wind energy, and wind energy is also a renewable source. You see, when you talk about renewable energy, generally, they have their pros and cons, and then we have something called comparative advantages, and we also have to conduct the practicability of some of these system of generating energy. And then considering these facts, we have some inhibiting factors that might hinder us from commercializing your wind system of generating energy compared to when you have your biomass or when you have your solar system in place. So basically speaking, you require a threshold of wind before you can be able to drive your wind farms, your wind system. So it is a bulky kind of a system. That's a disadvantage on its own. And then you have the presence of a lot of noise. So you cannot generate energy easily without having to contend with noise pollution. In the case of you are talking about wind energy. And in that case, you always see a wind farm being far from load centers. You always see the wind farm being far from load centers. As a result, you will need to you will need to invest in cabling, in transmitting this energy being generated from the load center to the from the energy farm to the load center.
Point,
So unlike when you have your biomass and you have your solar, in the case of these two energy alternatives, the biomass and your solar, you have three stages of power generation in the same location. the generation, the transmission, as well as the distribution. You can't have that when you talk about wind. So that is another thing I want us to look into. The reason why we cannot say wind energy is something you can easily go into. And if you have to go into it, it must be on a large scale for it to be profitable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so to get the contacts of any of the speakers, please send a message to Flora Care Line. Let me just read it out: 091-3400-2991. I'll take it again. The other line is 0802-442-1359. It's on the chat group. You can see it there. In the absence of nothing, I would want to ask Engineer Kafayat if there's any other thing you want us to look into before we close the day. It's been a wonderful session. We had about 50 people at a time, and we have 50% of that online now. It's still a good attendance after 3 hours.
Wow.
In fact, we have used 3 hours, 30 minutes. This is a fantastic audience. Thank you for your patience and time. I believe we've all sacrificed our time to be here. And for me, it's been enriching. I've gotten to listen to other experts and also the experts from other fields.
Thank you so much, Engineer. Okay, so before we go to the announcement of the gift, I want to briefly answer some of the questions that were asked too. So I will just take all of them in rush. So Engineer Lola asked if we build for our customers who buy land or we use contractors. Actually, we use experienced contractors. We use contractors. So we use contractors like you, like Engineer Fadikbe, and like other engineers. So even though it stays under our Flora Home supervision. So basically that's what we do. And then some small projects, we use some of our in-house engineers, because we have engineer in-house and we have architects in-house too. But for big projects, we use contractors. So then to register under us as contractors, once you send a message to our Flora Care Line, they will put you through the process, ma'am. So which other question is here? After registration of title. Okay, so this question, I know that lawyer Joseph was trying to answer. So basically service charge is different from documentation, unless what you mean by service charge is maybe agency fee or something. But even at that, they are two different things. So depending on your agreement with the real estate company. So what we are saying now is that it is not all estates that require service charge. But if you buy into an estate that requires service charge, you know, they have their calculation, they know why they're collecting service charge. And yes, you agree to that and you have to pay that. You have to pay for that. So if the bank is charging interest, then why can we say it is zero interest? Actually, the bank is not charging interest. They are collecting profit from you. So instead of just giving it to you and say be paying this certain percentage, you know, maybe after 1 year, after 3 years, what they do is that when they buy the property from the vendor, the property, let's say it is 10 million, then they will buy it from the vendor and resell it to you. They can put just 2 million on it. They can put any amount of profit on it. If you are satisfied, you go ahead and buy it. Even though that 2 million that they put as profit, whatever profit they do, you might end up paying for the next 10 years. If that is the agreement, they will not increase it and they will not seize the property. The moment they sell it for you, you have purchased it. Do you understand? So unlike the conventional banking that if you do not pay, they will take back the property. These people, they don't do that. When they sell it to you, they sold it to you. So even if you're not able to pay after the agreed 10 years, they will just be saying, they will just be sending a kind of reminder, they will employ you to pay and all that. So there is nothing like taking forceful possession of your property. Do you understand? And yes, it is not interest, it is profit they are taking. So is there a chance for students and entrepreneurs for this opportunity? So I don't know if the opportunity the person is asking for is actually that of the, you know, the loan. But I believe that the question, if this questioner refers to the Jais Bankman, please you can send a message to our Flora Care number so that you can get his number and ask him directly. But if it is the investment, like the own NI is available for everyone, practically everyone, people with small money or big money. So they said if the bank bought the property for 10 million, why not sell the property to their customers for each 15, rather than the customer paying a percentage towards rent to own? And so what they're saying is exactly what you said. They buy it for like 10 million, they can sell it for like 15 million. So that is what they do. So, but what they're saying is that the profits they put, they find a kind of way to put it in percentage. Like, okay, I buy this fufu, I want to put 10%, I want to make 10% profit on. So they will sell it to you at, so if I buy the fufu at 10 naira and I'm putting 10% profit on it, it means that I'm selling it to you at 11 naira. So you negotiate, you can say, no, I don't want to buy it at 11 naira. It is 10.5 naira, I want to buy it. So it will now be dependent on what you agree. So that is why their profit is not static. It's not like that is how they collect it from everybody. You know, if they collect 5 million naira or 10 million property from you, that's how they would do for all other people buying the same property. No. So it is buying, you know, they're reselling to you. So which other question here? Okay, I think somebody have questions for Dr. Kubena. The person should please send message to Flora Care to get his number. Which other question is here? Okay, I think there are no other questions again. I think there are no other questions. Okay, so we'll just talk about the gifts now. So let's see those who are online and we can talk about the gifts. Okay, so basically, the gift is a property gift or is a book gift. You know, about all these things, we are willing to give those people that are online free access to our real estate without fear book. So we sell this book for like 7,000 naira, but we'll give it to them for free. So please send a message, because there is no way we can take note of everyone here. Please send a message to our Flora Care number with your mail address, and then the link to download the book, even though it is on sale, but we're giving it to you absolutely for free, is going to be sent to your mail. You will receive it in your mail. So then secondly is that anybody here that is participating here and they want to engage any of our services, they get it at discounted rate. Precisely, they are getting it at 10% discount within this week. Yes, we're giving it to them like that. And for any of our property, we give them 5% off. Now, another good thing is that we are having a launching event in some days' time to launch our Flora City Ecopolis project. Please, if you want to be part of this launching, you can also send a message. It can be WhatsApp message, it can be SMS. Just send a message, specifically tell them that you want to be part of the launching so that you can be on the waiting list for the launching of our Eco City, where you pay 0 fee to enjoy lifetime service, the fully service. So what other thing? Sorry. So basically, as Flora Homes, what we do is to run complete verification. So we have professionals that we use, and some of them, you have met them today. So we don't do these things alone. We use, starting from the agents, you know, we use realtors, we use lawyers, we use surveyors, we use everyone. So we have some of them in our office, but we have some of them like third-party consultants that work for us. Thank you so much for being here. I believe that what we need next is to await feedback from the audience and feedback from our speakers, and then feedback from our special woman, and Dr. Okocha. So,
okay, there's a question on the chat, ma.
What do you say?
Somebody's asking if you have properties for sale in Abuja.
Yes, we have a property in Abuja. Please send a message to Flora Care line, and you'll be attended to.
Okay. Okay,
so I think we just need feedback from people. people should just raise their hand if they want to give us the feedback, how we can do better, if you learn one or two things from this. You know, I think that's all. And once we are done that, we can give vote of thanks. Engineer, over to you, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Please, you can just raise up your hand so that we can call you. If you have a comment or comment on what we've shared today. Okay, we have 2 hands up. I will call on the first one I saw, Mr. Jibril. Please, you can have the floor, sir.
It's Mrs. Good
Oh,
afternoon.
so sorry, ma. Apologies, ma. Please have the floor, ma.
Good evening, all. It's getting evening. It's my first time attending Flora Home webinar. I don't know if it has been on, but I think if they do this regularly, it will bring more awareness to individuals and the populace as well, and will bring about a better society at the end of it all. I hope to attend more of these webinars and get more educated on properties, on real estate. It's my first time and I really enjoyed the session. I'm saying kudos to the crew behind this and the management of Flora Homes. I wish them greater heights in their endeavors. So I hope to keep more into all this in future and in nearest time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the kind words. All right, we have
I appreciate it.
Bill Khalid Consults. You can have the floor. Bill Khalid Consults.
Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to thank the management of Flora Homes for this great opportunity. I must confess, it's quite impressive. I've been looking out for the program since from the time I saw the notice, and I'm delighted that actually I attended. I also want to thank them for the caliber of people that they brought on board to facilitate the program, and the honesty in the way they actually discharge and that responsibility, because almost every questions were answered in total. I don't think there was no holding back of any fact or any necessary information. If the MD even alone was allowed to talk, I know he was more or less like ready to talk from morning till night, because he was just ready to dash out this necessary information. And I believe a lot of people have actually learned. But these are first-hand information that people are getting on the platter of good. And to now credit all for the book that they are even giving for as incentive for some of us that joined from the beginning to this time, I also see it as a word very, very impressive and very, very encouraging. So I want to say a big thank you to the management and as well as to the facilitators of the program, and for everyone, of course, that actually also sacrifice their time and energy to also learn, because the knowledge gained, I believe, by God is to be useful. So thank you to everyone. Thank you once again.
Thank you too. I appreciate you. Engineer, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much, sir. I think, in fact, this is a very rare occasion where you see all the facilitators are still online. I want on behalf of Flora Homes appreciate everybody for sparing almost 4 hours. Before now, I never thought I would be able to spare 4 hours. I'm sure we have all made this sacrifice, and like the last speaker said, we've impacted, we've shared our knowledge. We hope that Flora Homes would come up with another enriching session like this, so that we can engage with the populace, engage people on the need to go green. They are absolutely high on green environment, and I appreciate them for this. Do any of the facilitators want to say something? This feedback from facilitators.
Maybe you should call Engineer Eluka.
Okay. We have a hand raised up. Engineer Eluka, please prepare. After this hand, you will be speaking it. We have Abdul
Karim. Thank you so much. I'm online.
Okay, please, Mr. Jibo, please, let's have Abdul
Karim. Yeah. Okay. So it's a great one. It's a beautiful one. I learned a lot myself, and
And then
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Jibo, thank you so much. You're in a noisy environment so that we can enjoy this. Mr. Abdul Karim, I hope I am right this time. I hope I'm not changing the gender. Please, you have the floor.
Okay, short answer.
Go ahead, sir. We can barely hear you. Okay, we can't hear you, Mr. Abdul Karim. Engineer Eluka, can you have the floor now? Engineer Eluka.
Good evening.
Hello,
Everyone.
good evening. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I
Can
think
I
Abdul Karim
speak
wants
now?
to speak.
Yes.
Okay, you can have the floor. Engineer Eluka, hold on a second. Please, you can speak. Okay,
Okay.
I'm sure it's a woman too. I'm sorry again. Going by the first name, I think it's a woman. Please go have the floor.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
I really enjoyed the program from the beginning to the end. It's amazing. It's informative, and it's a big time program for me. That I'm saying thank you to the management of Flora Homes for the job well done. We pray God to reward you abundantly for that good inspiration to bring out this program. We really appreciate your effort. May God reward you all abundantly.
Amen. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I want to ask a question. Sorry. I want to ask that, do you actually realtors? Do you train realtors under Flora Homes and Complaint?
All right, Engineer Kafayat, I think that question is for you.
Yes, we have realtors under Flora Homes and we train them too. In fact, it's a matter of, that is the first thing they need to do before they start to market. They get trained. So we train them from what they need to know about property so that when they represent us, in fact, even if we are not the only one they are marketing for, they need to know what real investment means, and they should not be recommending anything to customers. So whatever else they are going to be recommending, it has to be genuine, it has to be registered, it has to, follow all due diligence and all protocols. So basically, we do training and we have realtors too.
Okay, so how can I join? I want to join. I want to be trained.
Please send message to our Flora Care number. Yes, and you'll be attended to. You can send WhatsApp or SMS.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Okay. Finally, Engineer Luca, please, you can take the floor and we close.
Okay, I think it was overall a wonderful session actually. So myself, I think I learned a lot too from the session, especially from the zero interest Jais Bank option that they provide. So there are no questions for me to answer now, right?
Yeah, no questions. Yeah, no questions.
Oh, okay.
Just the feedback. How do you see the program? And we can close.
Okay, yeah, it's very informative, and I think more of the session should be encouraged. Maybe once every quarter or thereabout. I think it's something we should do frequently. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I think
thanks a lot for also to the management of Flora Homes for inviting us to join the session. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your dedication and your time, sir, and the expertise. God bless you, sir.
Bless you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Flora Homes.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Remember Flora Homes when you are thinking of smart home.
Yeah,
I'm an
electrical engineer too. So
So I'm into smart home. I will represent Elevating. So she did not know this, so I'm just saying it. I represent Elevating.
Oh,
So I'm control 4.
okay.
So that's what we do. Smart home.
Marco,
Great,
very
great. That's a good
wonderful.
one.
Think of Flora home. Thank you, everybody.
No problem. Thank you, madam. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Please send a message to claim your gift. Please don't forget that, and send a message for any other thing you have. I think engineer can just help us to do votes of thanks so that everybody can go.
All right. It's in fact, I was just thinking it's almost in 10 minutes time to be 4 hours. 4 hours of and the attendance is still very rich. We have 20 people after 4 hours. This is still a very good feedback. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who has spared their time. I want to say a big thank you to Flora Homes for inviting very sound facilitators to share knowledge on green buildings during technology.
Sorry, sir, help us to remind them that if they want to join the launching, they should send message, sir.
All right, ma. So you have it. Please check the chat room for the phone numbers for the Flora Care line. I can read it quickly. It's 091-3400-2991. The second number is 080-2442-1356. Say thank you, a big thank you from Flora Homes. We have Mariam here. She said a big thank you from Flora Homes. We have Client Priority Limited. Say thanks for the gift at the time, well appreciated. We have Kafayat here. Say thank you for the gifts. We have Temitope Salah. Say a very big thank you to Flora Homes and crew. This is really an eye opener for me and my husband. Thank you all. God bless you. So from Flora Homes and from us, we say thank you. Good night. You can all unmute your mic and mention any name and greet, and we go within the next 9 minutes. So
please put the hello. Yeah, please. We need
before I forget, hold on, sir.
Platform.
Okay, please do not forget to subscribe for the launching of the Flora Homes. Please do not forget to subscribe. I called out the number. You can just quickly pick it. Maybe next time we'll put a link for registration so that you can have your emails up front. Thank you so much. Hi to everybody.
Okay, thanks
Thank you so much, everyone. So,
thank you. Thanks for having us. God bless you.
Bye bye.
All right.
Good night. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice meeting everybody. Bye bye.
Nice meeting you too. And there are actually new technologies on wind energy.
Yes, that's what I was trying to
that does not make noise.
That doesn't make noise at all.
Like a fiber, you can put it on top of the building. I posted it recently too.
Yes, I've used it in a show.
But what engineer told me is also true. The conventional one is you have to put it far from the town.
Yeah, it's too noisy. Those ones are too noisy.
Yeah, but there are new composite materials they use now.
Yes, the new one that we have it's not like all those conventional ones. They are like angle. It's made in such a way that is diagonal. It's not how do I put it? Is it diagonal?
Not the big blade.
Yes, not the wind blade.
Yeah.
So what those ones they don't make noise nowadays. So you can use it in a building, so without any noise. So I've used it. I have a setup in Oshogbo in Osun State where I've used.
Okay,
I have
your number to Flora Care. Flora
Care. Please get in touch with Flora Care.
No problem. I'm already in your DM, madam. I'm already in your DM. Engineer Kifaya, I'm already in your DM. So we've been talking over the times about smart home. No problem. We'll be talking about
because she's the one that will be responding to most of the inquiry. So that when people ask her, she can just forward the numbers to them.
No problem, madam.
All right. So then we'll talk.
Next time you put me among the engineers, I will talk.
Okay. Perfect, sir.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Good night. Bye.
For your time, Mr. Taiwo, Mr. Asimi, Mrs. Idaya, Mr.
Engineer Asimi.
Okay, Mr. Kafaya, Mrs. Kifaya Salau, everybody, Mrs. Bushro, Mr. Clarence Priority, you know, who have I not called? Mr. Ejebo, Mr. Lawyer Joseph, Engineer Eloka, and our Engineer Fadipe, and our moderator, and our Chief Mrs. Anita. I believe I've called everyone, and the people behind the scene too, making it work. God bless you. We really appreciate everyone. God bless you. Our regards to your family. Bye.
Oh,
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. See you next time. Enjoy the session.
Nobody wants to leave the group, eh? Yeah.